Appropriately placed at the very beginning of the Rig Veda, this hymn invites Agni, the divine priest, to come to the sacrifice. I pray to Agni, the household priest, who is the god of the sacrifice, the one who chants and invokes and brings most treasure. Agni earned the prayers of the ancient sages, and of those of the present too. He will bring the gods here. Through Agni one may win wealth and growth from day to day, glorious and most abounding in heroic sons. Agni, the sacrificial ritual that you encompass on all sides, only that one goes to the gods. Agni, the priest with the sharp sight of a poet, the true and most brilliant. The god will come with the gods. Whatever good you wish to do for the one who worships you, Agni, through you, O Angiras, that comes true. To you, Agni, who shine upon darkness, we come, day after day, bringing our thoughts and homage to you, the king over sacrifices, the shining guardian of the order, growing in your own house. Be easy for us to reach, like a father to his son. Abide with us, Agni, for our happiness.
The notes.
The Angirases were an ancient family of priests, often identified with Vedic gods such as Agni and
1.26 Agni and the gods.
This hymn emphasizes the close symbiosis between the sacrificer and Agni on the one hand, and the sacrificer and the gods on the other. Agni is asked to intercede as a father would sacrifice for his son, implying a cooperation among worshippers, as well as between worshippers and gods. When Agni is pleased, the sacrificer has a good fire, and when the sacrificer has a good fire, the gods have a good fire, i.e., they rejoice in a good sacrifice, and so they become generous. The mortal praises Agni and hopes that he will praise, i.e., speak on behalf of, the mortal in turn, even as the mortal praises the gods and hopes that they will praise, i.e., approve of, him, light. Now get dressed in your robes, Lord of powers and master of the sacrificial food, and offer this sacrifice for us. Young Agni, take your place as our favorite priest with inspirations and shining speech. The father sacrifices for his son, the comrade for his comrade, the favorite friend for his friend. May Varuna, Mitra, and Aryaman, proud of their powers, sit upon our sacred grass as upon Manus. You who were the first to invoke, rejoice in our friendship and hear only these songs. When we offer sacrifice to this god or that god, in the full line of order, it is to you alone that the oblation is offered. Let him be a beloved lord of tribes for us, a favorite, kindly invoker. Let us have a good fire and be beloved. For when the gods have a good fire, they bring us what we wish for. Let us pray with a good fire. So let praises flow back and forth between the two, between us who are mortals and you, the immortal. Agni, young spawn of strength, with all the fires take pleasure in this sacrifice and in this speech.
The notes.
When Agni becomes the priest, his robes are both the flames and the prayers. Many gods are asked to behave like friends or fathers. Here, it is also suggested that one person might sacrifice on behalf of another, and Agni is asked to do this on behalf of the worshipper. A reference to the primeval sacrifice offered by Manu, ancestor of mankind. The verse, which is elliptic, implies both that Agni and the worshipper should enjoy a mutuality of praise, and that, through that link, the other gods and the worshippers should enjoy such a mutuality.
5.2 The birth of Agni.
The hymn begins with obscure references to unknown myths, the gist of which seems to be that Agni has vanished. The sacrificial fire or the domestic fire has suddenly been extinguished. This crisis is then generalized into a vague danger from which Agni is employed to rescue the worshipper, as well as specific dangers such as emotional conflict between parents and children, centering upon the vanishing mother, and the theological problem of the vanishing or otios god, identified with Varuna in V8. The appearance of Agni in the first place is the occasion for speculation on the mystery of creation ex nihilo, the kindling of the spark of fire out of thin air, see point 0.1.0.164, and the setting fire of Agni, E.5 to 6, becomes a metaphor for the release of the worshipper from constricting anguish. Indian tradition supplies a specific story to account for the vanishing of Agni in the early verses of this hymn. The priest, who also served as a charioteer even as Agni is the conveyor of the oblation, of a certain king quarreled with him over the murder of a male child. Feeling himself falsely accused, the priest left the kingdom in anger, and with him the heat of all the fires in the kingdom went out. The priest was finally called back, and on his return he declared that the king's wife had concealed the heat of the fire. When the priest swore an oath of truth, the fire reappeared and burnt the queen. This story, as obscure in its own way as the hymn it purports to gloss, and most probably a late afterthought, does at least indicate some ways in which the imagery of the birth of a concealed child and the kindling of an extinguished sacrificial fire are intertwined in the hymn. The young mother secretly keeps the boy tightly swathed and does not give him to the father. The people no longer see before them his altered face, hidden by the charioteer. Who is the boy that you are carrying, young woman? The chief queen, not the stepmother, gave him birth, for the embryo grew for many autumns. I saw him born when his mother bore him. I saw him with his golden teeth in pure color, testing his weapons far from his field, and I gave him the ambrosia that sets one free. What can those who have no Indra, no hymns, do to me? I saw him moving far away from his field, and his fine herd no longer shining brightly. They could not grasp him, for he had been born. The young women became gray with age. Who are they who separate my young man from the cow? They have never had a cowherd, not even a stranger. Let those who have seized him set him free. The man of foresight should drive the cattle back to us. The enemy powers have hidden among mortals, the one who is the king of dwellings, himself the dwelling place of men. Let the magic formulas of Atri set him free. Let those who revile be themselves reviled. When Sanasapha was bound for 1,000, you set him free from the stake, for he sacrificed with fervor. In the same way, Agni, set us free from our bonds when you have settled down here, O wise priest of the oblation. For when you grew angry you went away from me. The guardian of the laws told me this. Indra discovered you, for he knows. He taught me, and so I have come, Agni. Agni shines forth with a high light. By his power he makes all things manifest. He overpowers the godless forces of evil magic. He sharpens his two horns to gore the demons. Let Agni's bellowings reach to heaven as piercing weapons to destroy the demons. His angry glare breaks forth in ecstasy of Soma. The obstacles of the godless cannot hold him back. Inspired with poetry, I have fashioned this hymn of praise for you whose very nature is power, as the skilled artist fashions a chariot. If you receive it with pleasure, Agni, let us win waters and sunlight with it. The bull with the powerful neck, increasing in size and strength, will drive together the possessions of the enemy without opposition. This is what the immortals said to Agni. Let him grant shelter to the man who spreads the sacred grass. Let him grant shelter to the man who offers oblation.
The notes.
See 5.51 and 10.124. In the same way, all fires die out when Siva is wrongly accused and departs from the fine forests. In the sacrificial simile, the lower fire stick is the mother that holds back the fire, the child, from the father, the upper stick. On the human or anthropomorphic level, the verse describes a common familial conflict. In terms of the traditional gloss, the tale of the king and the priest, the charioteer who hides the fire is the priest. As a cosmic metaphor, the charioteer is the sun's charioteer, or the god Agni himself, and the meaning is that the sacrificial fire is reabsorbed into its celestial form. This verse plays upon the concept of the two mothers of Agni, who is elsewhere explicitly referred to as having two mothers, 3.3.10.2. The first is the official queen who bore him. The second is the despised queen, or stepmother, the young woman mentioned in VI, who carries the child away. She is the one whom the priest accuses of concealing the fire. The poet argues that since he has performed the pious act of offering the oblation and has had a vision of Agni, he is protected. Cf 8.4.3.3. The herd is the mass of flames, and the priest is the herder who has left them. Cf 8.164.17. The most likely interpretation of this verse is that they are the flames that cannot hold on to the vanishing Agni and therefore become gray ashes. They, in the first phrase, seems to refer to men who take the young man, Agni, away from the cows, the flames, his mothers. In the second phrase, they are the flames that lack even a foreign priest, the priest in exile, the departed priest, the men who stole the fire, or the demons who threaten the worshipper. Priests, who are the mortal guardians of Agni. Agni, the domestic hearth, a Vedic priest, a reference to the myth in which Sunasepha was to be sacrificed in place of 1,000 cattle, but was rescued by a priest, a form of Agni. Point 50. The scapegoat for the corpse, point 16, 0.4.1, and for the horse, point 162, 0.2.4. Agni appears as a bull in this and the next verse, as well as in V. The demons, human enemies of the Aryans, rival priests, and godless people, are all lumped together as suitable victims for the wrath of Agni in V6, verse 10.
2.35 The child of the waters, a Pomnapet.
The child of the waters is often identified with Agni as the form of fire that appears as the lightning born of the clouds. But he is a deity in his own right, who appears in the Avesta as a spirit who lives deep in the waters, surrounded by females, driving swift horses. As the embodiment of the dialectic conjunction of fire and water, the child of the waters is a symbol central to Vedic and later Hindu cosmology. Sayanair marks that his name designates the grandson rather than the son of the waters. See footnote. The herbs and trees are born from the waters, and Agni is born from the herbs and trees. End footnote. This hymn, the only one dedicated entirely to him, plays upon the simultaneous unity and non-unity of the earthly and celestial forms of Agni and the child of the waters. Striving for the victory prize, I have set free my eloquence. Let the god of rivers gladly accept my songs. Surely the child of the waters, urging on his swift horses, will adorn my songs, for he enjoys them. We would sing to him this prayer, well fashioned from the heart. Surely he will recognize it. With his divine energy, the child of the waters has created all noble creatures. Some flow together, while others flow toward the sea. But the rivers fill the same hollow cavern. The pure waters surrounded this pure, radiant child of the waters. The young women, the waters, flow around the young god, making him shine, and gazing solemnly upon him. With his clear, strong flames he shines riches upon us, wearing his garment of butter, blazing without fuel in the waters. 3 women, goddesses, wish to give food to the god so that he will not weaken. He has stretched forth in the waters, he sucks the new milk of those who have given birth for the first time. The birth of the horse is here and in the sun. Guard our patrons from falling prey to malice or injury. When far away in fortresses of unbaked bricks, hatred and falsehoods shall not reach him. In his own house he keeps the cow who yields good milk. He makes his vital force swell as he eats the nourishing food. Gathering strength in the waters, the child of the waters shines forth to give riches to his worshipper. True and inexhaustible, he shines forth in the waters with pure divinity. Other creatures and plants, his branches, are reborn with their progeny. Clothed in lightning, the upright child of the waters has climbed into the lap of the waters as they lie down. The golden-hued young women flow around him, bearing with them his supreme energy. Golden is his form, like gold to look upon, and gold in color is this child of the waters. Seated away from his golden womb, the givers of gold give him food. His face and the lovely secret name of the child of the waters grow when the young women kindle him thus. Golden-hued butter is his food. To him, the closest friend among many, we would offer worship with sacrifices, obeisance, and oblation. I rub his back, I bring him shavings, I give him food, I praise him with verses. Being a bull, he engendered that embryo in the females. Being a child, he sucks them and they lick him. The child of the waters, whose color never fades, seems to enter the body of another here. He shines forever with undarkened flames, remaining in this highest place. The young waters, bringing butter as food to their child, themselves enfold him with robes. O Agni, I have given a good dwelling place to the people. I have given a good hymn to the generous patron. All this is blessed that the gods love. Let us speak great words as men of power in the sacrificial gathering.
The notes?
Either he will make them beautiful, or he will reward them. As a form of Agni, the child of the waters is an asura, a high divinity, that is, the ocean, the 3 mothers of Agni, the waters of the 3 worlds. soma or butter. The waters are prima paras or prima gravitas. As the child of the waters is their first child, they themselves are firstborn from Brahma, says Sayana. Agni is often depicted as a horse, who is in turn identified with the sun. The micro-macrocosmic parallel is enriched by Agni's simultaneous terrestrial and celestial forms and those of the waters. Here, moreover, the sun, like the child of the waters, is born in the waters. The sacrificer asks to be protected by Agni, who is safe even when among enemies who do not control fire, and so do not fire their bricks, or who, as the sun, is safe from his enemies when he is in his own natural citadels, not made of baked bricks, i.e., the clouds. Here, the child of the waters is a god deva, not an ashura. Other fires on earth are regarded as branches of Agni, who also appears in plants. On another level, Agni causes all creatures and plants to be reborn, the waters of heaven or earth. The construction is loose and may imply either that it is Agni who is seated away from his golden womb, see 10.1, or that the sacrificers are seated around him, point 2, see 1.1, or that the sacrificers are seated around him. Here the young women are the 10 fingers, not the waters. The fingers kindle the earthly fire that grows in the waters, the clouds, secretly, and then is fed with butter at the sacrifice. Literally the lowest, that is the most intimate friend of men among the many gods, and therefore enjoying intimate services as described in the rest of this verse, that is, the fire altar. As the back of fire, the child of the waters engenders himself. He is father and son, pervading a body that belongs to someone who merely seems to be other. For the use of bull/calf imagery to express this paradox, see 7.101, the hymn to Parjanya. The father becomes an embryo, the middle form of Agni, the lightning that sucks the waters in the clouds as if they were cows. Then they lick him as a cow licks a calf, that is, on earth. This is an explicit statement of the identity of the child of the waters with Agni as the sacrificial fire. The former enters the body of the latter.
10.51. The gods coax Agni out of the waters.
This hymn is based upon the myth of the finding of the lost Agni. In this particular episode, it appears that Agni's 3 brothers have perished in the service of the gods, mediating, serving as priests, carrying the oblation to the gods, as is the task of the sacred fire. In fear of being destroyed in the same way, Agni fled and hid in the waters, the place of his birth, but the gods found him there again. The myth is thus both a conversation between the gods, asking him to return to them, and a dialogue on the dangers of being born at all, since life involves old age and death. The myth of the finding of the lost Agni is an analog to the myth of the finding of the stolen soma, and is in fact a variant of it, for it is the golden liquid of fire that is the basis of the Indo-European myth of Agni and soma together. O God, great was that membrane, and firm which enveloped you when you entered the waters. One God, O Agni, knower of creatures, saw all your various bodies. Who saw me? Who among the gods perceived my various bodies? O Mitra and Varuna, where are all the fuel sticks of Agni that lead to the gods? We searched for you in various places, O Agni, knower of creatures, when you had entered into the waters and the plants. It was Yama who discovered you with your many-colored light, which shines beyond the distance of 10 days' journey. Agni. I fled because I feared the role of oblation giver, so that the gods would not harness me to it, O Varuna. My bodies entered various places. I, Agni, have ceased to consider this task. Come here, man who loves the gods, wishes to sacrifice. When you have completed the ritual, Agni, you dwell in darkness. Make smooth the paths which lead to the gods. Carry the offerings with a good heart. The brothers of Agni long ago ran back and forth on this task like a chariot horse upon a road. Fearing this, Varuna, I went far away. I fled like a buffalo before the bowstring of a hunter. The gods, we will make your lifespan free of old age. O Agni, knower of creatures, so that you will not be harmed when you have been harnessed. Then you will carry the portion of the offering to the gods with a willing heart, O well-born one. Agni, give me alone the pre-sacrifices and the post-sacrifices, the nourishing part of the offering, and the clarified butter out of the waters and the man out of the plants. And let the lifespan of Agni be long, O gods. The pre-sacrifices and the post-sacrifices will be for you alone, the nourishing parts of the offering. This whole sacrifice will be for you, Agni. The 4 quarters of the sky will bow to you.
The notes.
For Agni as child of the waters, see 2.35.cf notes on 4.267. The word denotes the covering of the embryo in the womb. Agni is the embryo of the waters, and so returns to the womb when he hides. The gods point out that even there he was not safe from them. Agni has many forms in different places: lightning, sacrificial fire, the human body, etc. See .166, 6.9, and 1.164, 0.1. Mitra and Varuna lead the gods in the search. Agni argues that he cannot be seen in the water because there are no fuel sticks there to kindle him. These are the sticks which bring Agni to the gods through the oblation, and the sticks by which he carries the oblation from man to the gods. In one retelling of the myth, the gods bribe Agni by allowing him to change places with Yama, sending Yama to the world of the dead and bringing Agni to the world of the gods. That is, he flatly refuses to become their invoker or priest of the oblation, Hodder. Here, as elsewhere, the word Manu may designate either mankind in general or Manu, the eponymous ancestor of mankind. I think the former is the primary meaning, but since Manu is the brother of Yama, who has just been mentioned, there may be resonances with the latter meaning too. That is, you may rest after serving us, 6.90.1 and 6.90.7, and 10th January 10th, 124. Agni is often called a horse, and the expression harnessing him to the task of priest, VV 4 and 7, thus takes on more specific relevance. The clarified butter is the essence of the waters, the most precious of fluids, and also something that is placed in the waters in ritual and in cosmogonies, the golden seed, another form of Agni himself, in the waters. The man of the plants may be the personified god who is the best of the plants, Soma, or the corpse that is given to Agni in the funeral, see Paul 1.6.3. Finally, man is the best of the plants, SB 7, February 4th, 26, as butter is the best of the fluids.
10.124. Indra lures Agni from Vrtra.
Indra speaks on behalf of the gods to lure Agni back. When he is fled, see 500.51. Agni is hiding inside a father, perhaps Indra's father, see 5.18, who is called an Asura, an enemy of the gods, though not yet properly a demon. This Asura is eventually identified with the demon Vritra. Thus, the hymn combines the myth of finding Agni, 10.51, with the myth of killing Vritra, 1.32. Varuna and Soma are also said to have been with the Asura and to abandon him when Agni is persuaded to do so. Indra invites Agni to return, V Varuna, and Agni accepts, V Varuna, followed by Indra's promises, V Pate, 6, 7. The poet then praises Indra for winning these allies, V 8, 8, 9. Agni, come to this sacrifice of ours that has 5 roads, 3 layers, and 7 threads. Be our oblation bearer and go before us. For far too long you have lain in darkness. Secretly going away from the non-god, being a god and seeing ahead, I go to immortality. Unkindly I desert him who is kind to me, as I go from my own friends to a foreign tribe. When I see the guest of the other branch, I measure out the many forms of the law. I give a friendly warning to the Ashura father. I am going from the place where there is no sacrifice to the portion that has the sacrifice. Soma. I have spent many years within him. Now I choose Indra and desert the father. Agni, Soma, Varuna, they fall away. The power of kingship has turned around. Therefore, I have come to help. Indra, Varuna, these Ashuras have lost their magic powers since you love me. O king who separates false from true, come and rule my kingdom. This was the sunlight, this the blessing, this the light and the broad middle realm of space. Come out, Soma, and let us too kill Vritra. With the oblation we sacrifice to you who are the oblation. The poet, through his vision, fixed his form in the sky. Varuna let the waters flow out without using force. Like his wives, the shining rivers make him comfortable. They swirl his color along their current. They follow his supreme Indra power. He dwells in those who rejoice in their own nature. Choosing him as all the people choose a king, they have deserted Vritra, whom they loathe. They say that the yokemate of those full of loathing is a swan who glides in friendship with the divine waters. The poets, through their meditation, have seen Indra dancing to the Anu St Ub.
The notes.
For the number mysticism of the sacrifice. Cf 1.164. That is the Asura, Virtra Makani, 0.510.7, where Agni demands immortality. That is, when Varuna sees that Agni is the guest of the Asuras, his own friends, cf 1.2, rather than the gods, the foreign tribe, and that, therefore, the Asuras have the sacrifice, Varuna measures out, i.e., formulates and creates, the ritual laws for the gods. That is, realizing that the gods are getting the upper hand again, Soma the king returns to assist at their sacrifice. The power of illusion particularly associated with asuras such as Vritra, cf 1.320.4. Apparently Indra is telling Varuna and Soma that all the powers of light that belong to the gods are once again theirs, now that the dark power of the asuras has been overcome. EF, sacrificing the sacrifice to the sacrifice. October 90th, 16. Indra's wives. The waters that he frees when he kills Vritra. Indra, the poet, places his stamp upon his dominion again, both in form and in color. His color, Varna, is both the sign that typifies his species, gods, in contrast with asuras, and perhaps the bright color of the gods and Aryans in contrast with the darkness of the asuras and dasas. The waters. Indra's power consists in the forces of his nature, that is, those who loathe Vritra have as their helper, yokemate. Indra, here visualized by the poet as a swan dancing in the waters. Those who loathe Vritra are primarily those who desert him, Agni, Soma, Varuna, as well as the waters whom Indra has released, and the worshippers who rejoice in Indra's victory.
4.5. The mystery of Agni.
This obscure hymn may be an indirect description of an oral contest about Agni. The poet or poets tantalize us with oblique references to a secret revealed by Agni and revealing Agni. This secret is alluded to with expressions such as the gift, the inner meaning, point 3, this thought so high and deep, point 6, the vision that illuminates, point 8. The opponents of the Po appear in various pejorative forms, those who break the commandments, those without order or truth, those whose speech is empty and contrary, who follow a false path. There is also an extended pun upon the word padam, which designates a footprint, V, the 3, A, deep place, hell, in V5, perhaps with a double meaning of this riddle, i.e. this mysterious verse, the place of the sunbird, V, and the cow, V10, and a path, V12. These meanings are linked. To know the verse, padam, is to know how to follow the footprint, padam, along the path, padam, to the sacred place, padam of the sunbird, who is the symbol of the order and is in turn symbolized by the cow. The actual content of the secret concerns the identity of Agni with a bull, with the substance inside the leather skin of food, metaphor for an udder or the clouds or the earth or the human stomach. The latter being the site, in later Hinduism, of the digestive fire of all men, with the calf of the dappled cow, Prisni, the earth, or of the cows of dawn, and with the disk of the sun or the sunbird, the round face of the gods. Agni's parents are sky and earth, or the fire sticks, BV10. In the latter case, he hungers for the offering of butter, as a calf hungers for milk, the precious substance in the udder of Prisni. As the sun, the calf of the dawn, Agni is followed by her. Thus, the solar, sacrificial, and bovine images intertwine. The gift that Agni gives the poet is the clarifying vision that sees that Agni is always present in all of these forms. To find the secret is to find the cows, or their milk, or to find the hidden sun, to find Agni, the sacred fire. How shall we with one accord give homage to the benevolent Agni of all men? Great light, by his great and full growth, he has propped up the sky as a buttress props a rampart. Do not reproach the self-ruled God who gave this gift to me, for I am a simple mortal, while he is the clever immortal, the insightful, most manly and impetuous Agni of all men. The strong bull with sharp horns and seed 1,000-fold has a mighty and double tone. As one reveals the hidden footprint of a cow, Agni has declared to me the inner meaning. Let the generous Agni, sharp-toothed with white-hot flame, devour those who break the dear, firm commandments of Varuna and the watchful Mitra. Willful as women without brothers, wicked as wives who deceive their husbands, those who are evil, without order or truth, have engendered this deep place. O Agni who makes things clear, who am I, that upon me, when I have broken no commandments, you have boldly placed like a heavy burden this thought so high and deep, this fresh question with 7 meanings for the offering. Let our vision, that clarifies through sacrificial power, reach him who is the same everywhere. The precious substance of the dappled cow is in the leather skin of food, and the disk of the sun has mounted to the head of the earth cow. What of this speech of mine should I proclaim? They murmur about the secret hidden in the depths. When they have opened the mystery of the cows of dawn, like a door upon a flood, he protects the beloved head of the earth cow, the place of the bird. This is that great face of the great gods that the cow of dawn followed as it went in front. I found it shining in the place of the order, moving swiftly, swiftly. As he blazed beside his parents with his open mouth, he thought of the precious hidden substance of the dappled cow. In the farthest place of the mother, facing the cow, the tongue of the bull of the flame stretches forth. When questioned, I speak reverently of the order, if I may, trusting in you who know all creatures. You rule over all this, over all the riches in heaven and all the riches on earth. What is ours of this, what riches, what treasure? Tell us, for you understand, you who know all creatures. Hidden is the farthest end of our road, where we have gone as those who fail follow a false path. What are the limits? What are the rules? What is the goal? We wish to go there as racehorses speed towards the victory prize. When will the dawns, goddesses, and wives of immortality spread over us their light with the color of the sun? Those whose speech is empty and contrary, insipid and petty, who leave one unsatisfied. What can they say here, Agni? Unarmed, let them fall defeated. The face of the bull of this deity, kindled for beauty, shone forth in the house. Clothed in white, beautiful in form and rich in gifts, he glowed like a home full of riches.
The notes?
The bellow of the bull is likened to the 2 tones of the Vedic hymn, the high and middle pitch. Varuna and Mitra are the keepers of the moral law, CFEFT.850.7, a possible reference to hell, CEF.700.3. But here the meaning is more positive, as both deep and place are positive terms in this and in other hymns of the Rig Veda, and the phrase more likely refers to the world of light under the earth, where the sun moves from west to east at night. Agni, Jatavedas, GAT, F 1.16.
6.9 Agni and the Young Poet.
A young poet, doubting his powers in the ritual competition, V 0.2, seeks inspiration from Agni himself in solving the riddle of Agni, as usual a riddle of origins. The first and last verses, NV5, speak of the cosmic Agni, the sun that disappears at night, V1, or when he flees or is simply not present before light is created, V2. He appears among mortals as the ritual fire, V.4, and as the power of inspiration, 5BD, that teaches the poet how to surpass his own father, V.2-3. This inspiration transfigures the poet, but also makes him even more aware of the impossibility of describing Agni, V.0.6. The dark day and the bright day, the 2 realms of space, turn by their own wisdom. As Agni of all men was born, like a king he drove back the darkness with light. I do not know how to stretch the thread, nor weave the cloth, nor what they weave as they enter the contest. Whose son could speak here such words that he would be above and his father below? He is the one who knows how to stretch the thread and weave the cloth. He will speak the right words. He who understands this is the guardian of immortality. Though he moves below another, he sees above him. This is the first priest of the oblation. Look at him. This is the immortal light among mortals. This is the one who is born and firmly fixed, the immortal growing great in his body. He is light firmly fixed for everyone to see, the thought swiftest among all who fly. All the gods with one mind and one will rightly come to the one source of thought. My ears fly open, my eye opens, as does this light that is fixed in my heart. My mind flies up, straining into the distance. What shall I say? What shall I think? All the gods bowed to you in fear, Agni, when you hid yourself in darkness. May Agni of all men save us with his help. May the immortal save us with his help.
The notes.
BC 10.5124. Night and day, the dark and light sides of the sun, become part of the dark and light halves of the universe. The other sages in the contest. For the image of weaving the sacrifice, cf. 10.13.1.2.4. Agni himself, or the inspired poet, the thread that stretches from earth to heaven, as well as the thread of inspiration that enables him to weave his poem, a form of the axis mundi, as well as the spiritual link between gods and men. The Hatra of whom Agni is the archetype, the invoker oft he gods, the ritual fight established in the tradition, also the sun fixed in the sky. The sun, who sees all, is seen by all and allows everyone to see. Agni as the source of inspiration, or the man who knows Agni. Bhyana Bhava Kyotoratot. Point 10.124.1.
10.5 The Hidden Agni.
Riddles and speculations about the nature of Agni make use of various tropes and metaphors familiar from other hymns, not only the Agni hymns, but the cosmological and cosmogonic corpus and the meditations on the sacrifice. The image of the hidden and concealed Agni predominates and links the other images. The one sea with many births, support of treasures he sees out of our heart, he clings to the udder in the lap of the two who are concealed. The path of the bird is hidden in the midst of the fountain. The buffaloes, bursting with seed, veiling themselves, have united with the mares in the same stable. The poets hide the path of the truth. They keep secret their highest names. The two who are made of truth, yet made of magic, have come together. They have made a child and given birth to him, and made him grow. He is the navel of all that moves and is firm, who with his mind stretches the thread of the poet. For the waves of truth, the refreshing foods, have always clung to the well-born child for reward. Wearing a cloak, the two world halves made him grow on butter and food and honey. Full of desire, the wise one brought the 7 red sisters out of the honey to see. Born long ago, he was yoked in mid-air. Seeking a robe to hide him, he found Pusans. The poets fashioned 7 boundaries. He who was trapped went to only one of them. The pillar of life's vigor, he stands in the nest of the highest, among the supports at the end of the paths. Non-existence and existence are in the highest heaven, in the lap of Aditi and the birth of Daksa. Agni is for us the firstborn of truth, in the ancient vigor of life, the bull, and also the cow.
The notes.
A double meaning. Agni himself is born many times, and he is responsible for many births. Heaven and earth are the parents of Agni, but so are the 2 fire sticks. The flames of Agni are often feminine, but they are also called male buffaloes, bulls, or stallions full of seed. Their stable, literally their nest, as in V6, is the wood in which they rest, together with the females of the breed, also the flames. Or the male and female animals may be the male and female sticks, RTA often translated as order, cf.1640.11, ca.1640.3710.164.47 in this late hymn, seems better translated as truth. The magic nourishment is part of the realm of order or truth embodied in Agni. These powers nurse him for pay, for the reward of maintaining their own prosperity and that of the world. The 7 sisters are the mares who are Agni's flames, here said to break out of the sweet butter poured on the fire. They come forth both to see and to be seen, a double meaning often attributed to the sun. Symbolism relating to the birth of the sun as well as to the concealment of Agni. literally, suffering from the feeling of being unable to move freely, a word often translated as in anguish, but here perhaps more literally, hemmed in, for existence and non-existence. See 1.1290.15. For Daxa and Aditi, see 1.72.4. The androgyny of Agni, already present in a veiled form in verse 2, here becomes explicit. For Parjanya as the bull and cow, see 5.83 and 7.101.
The Soma.
The Soma plant is visualized in the Rig Veda as a god and as a liquid pressed by stones in wooden bowls and filtered through a woolen sieve. These processes are described in some detail, 9.74, 10.94, and are the inspiration for a rich cloth of imagery woven by the Vedic poet, an imagery also applied to the flowing of the sacrificial butter, 4.58, women uniting with lovers, wild animals attacking, rivers flowing to the sea. Soma can be dangerous, 8.790.78 August 48th 10, but the effects of drinking Soma are usually admired, or at least sought after. A sense of immense personal power, 10.119, particularly valuable in the god Indra. Intimations of immortality, 8.48, and the hallucinations of trance, 10.136. Soma's form and activities are referred to in several other hymns in this collection, 8.91, 9.112, 10.85, 10.94, 10.109. The story of his descent from heaven, 4.26.7, is the only episode in his mythology narrated in any detail.
8.79. This restless Soma.
This restless Soma. You try to grab him, but he breaks away and overpowers everything. He is a sage and a seer inspired by poetry. He covers the naked and heals all who are sick. The blind man sees, the lame man steps forth. Soma, you are a broad defense against those who hate us, both enemies we have made ourselves and those made by others. Through your knowledge and skills, rushing forward you drive, out of the sky and the earth, the evil deed of the enemy. Let those who seek find what they seek. Let them receive the treasure given by the generous and stop the greedy from getting what they want. Let him find what was lost before. Let him push forward the man of truth. Let him stretch out the lifespan that has not yet crossed its span. Be kind and merciful to us, Soma. Be good to our heart, without confusing our powers in your whirlwind. King Soma, do not enrage us. Do not terrify us. Do not wound our heart with dazzling light. Give help when you see the evil plans of the gods in your own house. Generous King, keep away hatreds, keep away failures.
The notes.
Soma, or the man inspired by Soma. Soma is asked to intercede for the worshipper among the other gods, as Agni often does.
9.74. Soma pressed in the bowls.
This hymn describes in metaphors the pressing of Soma in the Soma bowels and the pouring of the juices through a filter made of wool. The processes are likened to the milking of rain out of the clouds and the downpouring of the torrents upon the earth, to the pouring of seed into a womb to produce children, and to the winning of a race. In addition to their function as metaphors, these images serve also to express the goals of life that the poet hopes will be achieved by the Soma sacrifice: rain, fertility, and wealth. Cows appear in all of these metaphors as symbols of the milk or water with which the Soma is mixed, as clouds from which rain is milked, as women who bear children, and as the prize to be won by the racehorse. Soma appears sometimes as a male animal, calf, horse, bull, sometimes as a female, identified with the cows, like Parjanya and Agni in other hymns. He is further identified with more abstract and general forms, such as the navel of order, the pillar of the sky, here identified with the stalk of the Soma plant, and the pasture or lap of Aditi, the highest heaven, here identified with the Soma bowl. The metaphors intertwine in many ways, as when rain is called the seed of the sky, or the water in the bowl is called a wave of the cosmic ocean. Like a newborn child, he bellows in the wood, the tawny racehorse straining to win the sun. He unites with the sky's seed that grows great with milk. With kind thoughts we pray to him for far-reaching shelter. He who is the pillar of the sky, the well-adorned support, the full stalk that encircles all around, He is the one who by tradition sacrifices to these two great world halves. The poet holds together the conjoined pair and the refreshing foods. The honey of Soma is a great feast. The wide pasture of Aditi is for the man who follows the right way. Child of dawn, the bull who rules over the rain, here, leader of the waters. Worthy of hymns, he is the one who brings help here. Butter and milk are milked from the living cloud. The navel of order, the ambrosia, is born. Together, those who bring fine gifts satisfy him. The swollen men pissed down the fluid set in motion. The stalk roared as it united with the wave. For man, he swells the skin that attracts the gods. He places in the lap of Aditi the seed by which we win sons and grandsons. Relentlessly they flow down into the filter of 1,000 streams. Let them have offspring in the third realm of the world. 4 hidden springs pouring forth butter carry down from the sky the ambrosia that is the oblation. He takes on a white color when he strains to win. Soma, the generous Asura, knows the whole world. He clings to inspired thought and ritual action as he goes forth. Let him hurl down from the sky the cask full of water. Now he has gone to the white pot coated by cows. The racehorse has reached the winning line and has won 100 cows for Kaksavat, the man of 100 winters. Longing for the gods in their heart, they hasten forth, clarifying Soma, when you are sated with waters, your juice runs through the sieve made of wool, polished by the poets. Soma, who brings supreme ecstasy, be sweet for Indra to drink.
The notes.
Soma as a newborn calf or horse wanders in the forest of the wooden pressing bowls. The seed of heaven is the rain that mixes with the milk of the clouds, as Soma mixes with the milk in the bowls. Soma is identified with the sun, who is called a poet, propping apart and holding together the pair of sky and earth, his parents. The Maruts are the swollen men, clouds, who urinate the Soma, a male image, after it has been milked from the clouds, female image. Soma is the living androgynous cloud from which milk and rain are pressed. Soma is the stalk, the wave is the water that mixes with it. The skin of the plant swells like the leather water skin likened to the fane clues, see 5.8.5, 5.83, or 0.7, or the overturned cask, v.7. Both attributes of Parjanya, the streams of Soma likened to rains are to have their offspring in the third realm. For the floods of rain renew themselves in heaven, said 0.1640.7, Kaksivat, said to have been saved by the Asvins, 1.1164.7, may have regained his youth, as did many others helped by the Asvins, the Soma juices, or the priests.
10.94 The Pressing Stones.
A hymn to the stones that press the Soma juice, the noise that they make while grinding the stalks of the plant, and their action in devouring, i.e. destroying, the fibers while releasing the juices, suggest the actions of animals, cows, bulls, horses, that growl or bellow and swallow the liquid. Let them raise their voices and let us raise our voices. Speak your speech to the stones that speak, when you stones, you mountains full of Soma, rush to bring the rhythmic sound to Indra. They speak in 100 ways, 1,000 ways, howling with their green jaws. Working busily and well to do the good work, the stones have succeeded in eating the oblation even before the priest of the oblation. They speak. They have found the honey. They growl and gnaw on the cooked meat. As they snap at the branch of the red tree, the bulls who have grazed well begin to bellow. They speak loudly, excited by the exhilarating drink. They shout to Indra, they have found the honey. Artfully they danced with the sisters that embraced them, making the earth echo with their stampings. The eagles have sent their cry up to the sky. Ardently the dark hinds danced in the meadow. They plunge deep to the rendezvous with the lower stone. They infuse it with floods of the seed of the sun-bright one. Like brawny, drawed animals yoked together, these bulls bear the shaft and pull as a team. When they bellow, panting and chewing the cud, they sound like racehorses whinnying. Sing to them that have 10 girths, 10 yoke straps, 10 harnesses, 10 reins that never wear out, to them that are yoked 10 times to bear 10 shafts. The stones are swift horses, their bridle with 10 thongs fits them comfortably. They have tasted the filtered juice of the first pressing of the soma juice milked from the stalk. These soma eaters kiss Indra's parabes. As they milk the stalk, they sit upon the ox. When Indra has drunk the honey they have milked, he grows great and acts like a bull. Your stalk is a bull. Surely you will not be harmed. You are always overflowing with nourishment, sated with food. You are lovely in your splendor, like the daughter of a rich man at whose sacrifice you stones rejoice. Porous or not porous, the stones never tire, never rest, never die. They are never sick or old or shaken by passion. Nicely fat, they are free from thirst and desire. Your fathers are entirely firm in age after age, peace-loving. They do not budge from their spot. Untouched by age, the companions of the tawny one are like the saffron tree. They have made the sky and the earth listen to their uproar. The stones speak the same when they are unyoked and when they are on their journey, with their stampings like the noises of men who drink deeply. Like those who sow seed and grow grain, they gobble up the soma without diminishing it as they lap it up. They have raised their voices for the sacrificial juice, like playful children jostling a mother. Set free the inspiration of the one who presses soma, and let the stones that we hold in awe return to being stones.
The notes.
The stones are first referred to and then are addressed after the priests at the end of the verse. Here, the poet addresses the priests, whose chants of invocation to Indra are equated with the noise of the stones that Indra hears. Their jaws are green with the juice of the soma plant, also called yellow, red, as in V3 or tawny. Soma is here imagined as a sacrificial animal eaten by the stones, soma. The 10 fingers that hold the stones, soma. The 10 fingers again, here imagined as draught animals, as in the previous verse. The soma stalks are placed upon an ox hide. The mountains, as in verse 1, are the fathers of the stones. Soma is the tawny one. As he grows in the mountains, they are his companions. The stones or the mountains become yellow through contact with soma. That is, lose those awesome qualities that they took on during the ritual and return to being mere stones. The ritual objects must be desanctified after the ritual.
4.58 butter.
The clarified butter is visualized in 3 forms. V3 as the actual butter used as the oblation, as the soma juice, and as perfected speech in the heart of the poet. The wave of honey arose out of the ocean. Mingling with the stalk, it became the elixir of immortality. That is the secret name of butter. Tongue of the gods, navel of immortality. We will proclaim the name of butter. We will sustain it in this sacrifice by bowing low. When it has been pronounced, let the Brahmin priest hear it. This 4-horned buffalo too has let it slip out. 4 horns, 3 feet has he. 2 heads and 7 hands has he. Bound threefold the bull bellows. The great god has entered mortals. In the cow the gods found the butter that had been divided into 3 parts and hidden by the pa-en is. Indra brought forth one form, Surya one, and from the very substance of Vina they fashioned one. These streams of butter flow from the ocean of the heart, enclosed by 100 fences, so that the enemy cannot see them. I gaze upon them. The golden reed is in their midst. Our words flow together like rivers, made clear by understanding deep within the heart. These waves of butter flow like gazelles fleeing before a hunter. Like whirlpools in the current of a river, the young streams of butter surge forth and swell with the waves, overtaking the wind like a chestnut racehorse that breaks through the sides of the track. Smiling, the streams of butter rush to Agni like beautiful women to a festival. They touch the fuel sticks, and Agni joyously woos them. I gaze upon them. They are like girls anointing themselves with perfumed oil to go to a wedding. Where soma is pressed, where there is a sacrifice, there the streams of butter are made clear. Let a fine song of praise flow forth, and a race that wins cows. Bring us auspicious riches. Lead this sacrifice of ours to the gods. The honeyed streams of butter become clear. The whole universe is set in your essence. Within the ocean, within the heart, in the lifespan. Let us win your honeyed wave that is brought to the face of the waters as they flow together.
The notes.
The soma stalk mixes with the water to make the juice of immortality. Soma is imagined as a buffalo, and in the next verse as a bull. He emits the secret, the soma, and his seed all as butter. Indra released the cows that had been penned up by the Panis, human and demonic enemies of the invading Indo-Aryans. Finding the butter, soma as milk, within them. Cf 3.31 and 10.18. The seer identified with the sunbird. Cf 10.123. The soma juices, once imbibed, are said to be in the heart, as is the poet's inspiration. The soma plant, full of butter and seed. Soma is clarified in the filter. Butter is clarified by boiling, and thought is clarified in the heart. The track is simultaneously the fence around the racetrack, the banks of the river, and the normal channels of thought. The lifespan belongs both to butter, that gives immortality, as soma, and to the poet, whose inspiration in the ocean that is his heart gives him immortality.
4.267 Soma and Indra and the Eagle.
These two closely related hymns center upon the myth of the theft of the elixir of immortality. This Indo-European theme appears in Russia as the firebird and in Greece as the myth of Prometheus. For soma is the fiery juice, simultaneously fire and water, agni isomao, that gives immortality. Soma is born in heaven or in the mountains, and closely guarded by demonic powers. An eagle carries Indra to heaven to bring the soma to men and gods. Or, an eagle brings the soma to Indra, where an eagle brings the soma to Indra. Men and gods, April 18th, 13. Escaping with merely the loss of a single feather from the one shot loosed by the guardian archer. The first hymn begins with a song of drunken self-praise by Indra, part 1.159, and then tells the story of the eagle, part 3.187. The second hymn begins with the self-praise of the eagle, part 1.187, and then a verse spoken by Soma, and a return to the narration of the myth. 4.26. Indra, I was Manu and I was the sun. I am Kax, I Vate, the wise sage. I surpassed Kutsa, the son of Arjuna. I am the inspired Usanasfor. Look at me. I gave the earth to the Aryan. I gave rain to the mortal who made an offering. I led forth the roaring water. The gods followed after my wish. Ecstatic with Soma, I shattered the 99 fortresses of Sambara all at once, finishing off the inhabitant as the 100th, as I gave aid to Devodasa Atithigva. O Maruts, the bird shall be supreme above all birds, the swift-flying eagle above all eagles, since by his own driving power that needs no chariot wheels, with his powerful wings he brought to man the oblation loved by the gods. Fluttering as he brought it down, the bird, swift as thought, shot forth on the wide path. Swiftly the eagle came with the honey of Soma, and won fame for that. Stretching out in flight, holding the stem, the eagle brought the exhilarating and intoxicating drink from the distance. Accompanied by the gods, the bird clutched the Soma tightly after he took it from that highest heaven. When the eagle had taken the Soma, he brought it for 1,010,000 pressings at once. The bringer of abundance left his enemies behind there. Ecstatic with Soma, the wise one left the fools. 4.27. The eagle. While still in the womb, I knew all the generations of these gods. 100 iron fortresses guarded me, but I, the eagle, swiftly flew away. Soma, he did not drag me out against my will, for I surpassed him in energy and manly strength. In a flash, the bringer of abundance left his enemies behind as he outran the winds, swelling with power. As the eagle came shrieking down from heaven, and as they led the bringer of abundance down from there like the wind, as the archer K.R. Sanu, reacting quickly, aimed down at high and let loose his bowstring, the eagle bearing Indra brought him down like Buju from the summits of heaven, stretching out in swift flight. Then a wing feather fell in mid-air from the bird, as he swooped on the path of flight. The white goblet overflowing with cow's milk, the finest honey, the clear juice offered by the priests. Now let the generous Indra raise it to drink, until ecstatic with Soma. Let the hero raise it to drink, until ecstatic with Soma.
The notes.
In his ecstatic sense of self-importance and omnipotence, Indra identifies himself with various mythic personages. The sun is another form of the prize won by the celestial firebird. In other variants, the sun is the firebird himself, and Manu, the eponymous ancestor of mankind, is the one to whom the Soma is brought. V 0.4. Indra identifies himself with the sage whom he inspires, cf. Caps 9.74.8. Indra and Kutsa are sometimes enemies in the Rig Veda, sometimes allies in feats such as fighting with the serpent Susna and stealing the solar disk. Usanas is an inspired sage and priest. By destroying the fortresses of the demons, Indra releases the waters. 4.32. A demon, the enemy of Indra and of Devadasa. With Indra's help, Devadasa destroys the demon's fortresses that imprison the eagle with the soma, in fear of the archer shooting at him. 4.27. The Zoma. The gods as the attendants of Indra. Indra, perhaps riding on the eagle. Elsewhere, Seth.1.6, A.13.13, the bringer of abundance, is a female divinity. Again, an allusion to the demon's fortresses. Seth 4.260.3, in which the eagle is kept. Perhaps the soma was guarded there and the eagle was kept there after the theft, though soma may have been imprisoned alone earlier in order to forestall the theft. The eagle boasts in response to Indra's praise of him. 0.260. Point 4. The eagle, or Indra riding on the eagle, probably the gods or perhaps the winds mentioned in the previous verse. A demon placed as guardian over the soma. The Asvins rescued Buju from the ocean. Cfet.1160.3, 4.4. The feather turned into a plant used as a substitute for the soma plant. Halfway between sky and earth. The Advaryas responsible for the performance of the soma ritual.
10.129. The soma drinker praises himself.
Under the influence of the drug soma, a sage or god praises himself. The god may be Indra or Agni, though the former is more likely and is supported by the Indian commentarial tradition. Either god may be incarnate in the worshipper speaking the hymn. As he drinks, his boasts become progressively more gargantuan. This, yes, this is my thought. I will win a cow and a horse. Have I not drunk soma? Like impetuous winds, the drinks have lifted me up. Have I not drunk soma? The drinks have lifted me up, like swift horses bolting with a chariot. Have I not drunk soma? The prayer has come to me as a lowing cow comes to her beloved son. Have I not drunk soma? I turn the prayer around in my heart as a wheelwright turns a chariot seat. Have I not drunk soma? The 5 tribes are no more to me than a mote in the eye. Have I not drunk soma? The 2 world halves cannot be set against a single wing of mine. Have I not drunk soma? In my vastness, I surpass the sky and this vast earth. Have I not drunk soma? Yes. I will place the earth here, or perhaps there. Have I not drunk soma? I will thrash the earth soundly, here, or perhaps there. Have I not drunk soma? One of my wings is in the sky. I have trailed the other below. Have I not drunk soma? I am huge, huge, flying to the cloud. Have I not drunk soma? I am going, a well-stocked house, carrying the oblation to the gods. Have I not drunk soma?
The notes.
Tef 4.260.1, 4.270.1. The verb can mean to win for oneself or for someone else. If India is speaking, he wants them for himself. If Agni, to transmit to the other gods, or to give to the poet. If the poet, to give to the gods. Since the poet imagines that he has become a god, all of these meanings are simultaneously present. As a god, he receives the prayer and turns it around to decide whether or not to accept it. As a poet, he receives the inspiration of the prayer and turns it around to perfect it, the whole of the Vedic tribal world. Alternatively, worth no more than a glance, sky and earth, set against, both in the sense of set in opposition to and set up as equal to. Agni takes the form of a bird or a winged horse, but the poet may simply feel that he is flying, a frequent symptom of drug-induced ecstasy. See .1360.2. He imagines himself to have grown so large that he touches heaven and earth at the same time. A salutation of farewell as he heads for heaven and the gods. A compound image of a house full of soma, his stomach being the larder, a flying palace common in later Indian mythology, and the god Agni carrying the oblation, the soma, to the gods.
9.13. The ecstasy of soma.
The poet begins by inviting Indra to drink soma with him, and then invokes soma for himself, praising him. He then asks Soma to make him immortal, as he becomes inspired under the hallucinogenic influence of the drug Vivatsix. Let Indra, the killer of Vivar, drink Soma in Saryanavad, gathering his strength within himself to do a great heroic deed. O drop of Soma, flow for Indra. Purify yourself, generous Soma, from Erjika, master of the quarters of the sky, pressed with sacred words, with truth and faith and ardor. O drop of Soma, flow for Indra. The daughter of the sun has brought the buffalo raised by Parjanya. The divine youths have received him and placed the juice in Soma. O drop of Soma, flow for Indra. You speak of the sacred as your brightness is sacred. You speak the truth as your deeds are true. You speak of faith, King Soma, as you are carefully prepared by the sacrificial priest. O drop of Soma, flow for Indra. The floods of the High One, the truly awesome one, flow together. The juices of him so full of juice mingle together as you, the tawny one, purify yourself with prayer. O drop of Soma, flow for Indra. Where the high priest speaks rhythmic words, O purifier holding the pressing stone, feeling that he has become great with the Soma, giving birth to joy through the Soma. O drop of Soma, flow for Indra. Where the inextinguishable light shines, the world where the sun was placed, in that immortal, unfading world, O purifier, place me. O drop of Soma, flow for Indra. Where Vivasvan's sun is king, where heaven is enclosed, where those young waters are, there make me immortal. A drop of Soma, flow for Indra. Where they move as they will in the triple dome, in the third heaven of heaven, where the worlds are made of light, there make me immortal. O drop of Soma, flow for Indra. Where there are desires and longings, at the sun's zenith, where the dead are fed and satisfied, there make me immortal. O drop of Soma, flow for Indra. Where there are joys and pleasures, gladness and delight, where the desires of desire are fulfilled, there make me immortal. O drop of Soma, flow for Indra.
The notes?
The mountains where Soma is found. Tapas, the heat generated by sacrificial activity, and later by asceticism. The daughter of the sun is the wife of Soma. Soma is sometimes called a buffalo, or a bull or stallion. Parjanya, god of fructifying rain, makes Soma and other plants grow. CH 5.83.1, 5.83.5, May 83rd 10, 7.1.10.6, that is, the deeds done under the influence of Soma are true. CH.1.10.6, that is, the deeds done under the influence of Soma are true. CH.1.10.6, 7.1.10.6, that is, the deeds done under the influence of Soma are true. CH.1.10.6, that is, the deeds done under the influence of Soma are true. CH.1.1.6, that is, the deeds done under the influence of Soma are true. CH.1.3.1.6, that is, the deeds done under the influence of Soma are true. In vino veritas. Yama, the son of Vivasvan, is king in the world of the dead. Here, and elsewhere in the Rig Veda, thought of as being in heaven, where the dead are nourished by the offerings made to them by their descendants. The cosmic waters born in heaven.
8.48, we have drunk the Soma.
This hymn celebrates the effects of Soma, particularly the feeling of being set free and released into boundless open space, and the belief that the drinker is immortal. I have tasted the sweet drink of life, knowing that it inspires good thoughts and joyous expansiveness to the extreme, that all the gods and mortals seek it together, calling it honey. When you penetrate inside, you will know no limits, and you will avert the wrath of the gods. Enjoying Indra's friendship, O drop of Soma, bring riches as a docile cow brings the yoke. We have drunk the Soma, we have become immortal, we have gone to the light, we have found the gods. What can hatred and the malice of a mortal do to us now, O immortal one? When we have drunk you, O drop of Soma, be good to our heart, kind as a father to his son, thoughtful as a friend to a friend. Far-famed Soma, stretch out our lifespan so that we may live. The glorious drops that I have drunk set me free in wide space. You have bound me together in my limbs as thongs bind a chariot. Let the drops protect me from the foot that stumbles and keep lameness away from me. Inflame me like a fire kindled by friction. Make us see far, make us richer, better. For when I am intoxicated with you, Soma, I think myself rich. Draw near and make us thrive. we would enjoy you, pressed with a fervent heart, like riches from a father. King Soma, stretch out our lifespans as the sun stretches the spring days. King Soma, have mercy on us for our well-being. Know that we are devoted to your laws. Passion and fury are stirred up. O drop of Soma, do not hand us over to the pleasure of the enemy. For you, Soma, are the guardian of our body. Watching over men, you have settled down in every limb. If we break your laws, O God, have mercy on us like a good friend to make us better. Let me join closely with my compassionate friend so that he will not injure me when I have drunk him. O Lord of bay horses, for the Soma that is lodged in us, I approach Indra to stretch out our lifespan. Weaknesses and diseases have gone, the forces of darkness have fled in terror. Soma has climbed up in us, expanding. We have come to the place where they stretch out lifespans. The drop that we have drunk has entered our hearts, an immortal inside. O fathers, let us serve that Soma with the oblations and abide in his mercy and kindness. Uniting in agreement with the fathers, O drop of Soma, you have extended yourself through sky and earth. Let us serve him with an oblation. Let us be masters of riches. You protecting gods, speak out for us. Do not let sleep or harmful speech seize us. Let us, always dear to Soma, speak as men of power in the sacrificial gathering. Soma, you give us the force of life on every side. Enter into us, finding the sunlight, watching over men. O drop of Soma, summon your helpers and protect us before and after.
The notes.
Here, as elsewhere in the hymns to Soma, honey is not a reference to the product of bees or the Indo-European mead made from it, but refers to the essence and sweetness of the ambrosia. Inside the human body, the Soma becomes boundless, in the sense of producing a feeling of infinite expansion, a sensation characteristic of psychedelic drugs. But the word aditi may also be taken as the proper name of the goddess Aditi, for Soma is called the youngest son of Aditi, and Aditi's function of liberating from sin might be relevant here. Soma, Aditi's son, purifies from within and pacifies the angry gods. The term denotes an obedient female animal, probably a draught animal. It could be a mare or a cow. See Dawn harnessing docile cows to her chariot in order to bring treasure to the singer. 1.92.2.2. These animals, though naturally fierce in the Indo-European world, were also capable of being tamed. The poet has a vision of what life in heaven would be like, a kind of vague temporary immortality, lasting a long time. The verb means to cross in a forward direction, as one would cross a river, to push the farther bank of the lifespan farther away. SB January 6, 11.6, in which Prajapati sees the end of his life as one would see the farther bank of a river. The metaphor is repeated in VV 7 and 10:11. And the idea of prolonging life or of obtaining the limited immortality which consists in a full lifespan is central to the hymn, cf. Also the recurrent Vedic themes of stretching the thread, of the sacrifice, and expanding in space. The releasing effect of the drug described in the first part of this verse is immediately contrasted with a binding, perhaps by Soma, perhaps by someone else, and then with some sort of stumbling. This stumbling may involve actual injury, prefigured in the binding with thongs, and followed by the lambness of the next phrase. The verse may also imply more metaphysical mistakes, but the literal meaning might refer to stumbling and falling in physical clumsiness as a result of the ecstasy induced by Soma. Soma stirs not only the emotions of the drinkers, but also the unpredictable emotions of the enemy mentioned in the next phrase, Soma. Indra here is elsewhere identified with Soma. The singer approaches Indra to come for Soma in the sense of in order to enjoy Soma, or in return for being given Soma, but in any case to act like Soma, to prolong life, or even to allow Soma to remain in the belly for a long time, personified as females. The fathers, as drinkers of Soma, are called to witness. Harmful speech may mean injurious slander, or may refer to the violation of the vows of remaining awake and silent in the rite of initiation into the Soma sacrifice. Forms of sacrifice, October 18th, 14. The worshipper asks to be surrounded and protected now and forever in his drug-induced vulnerability.
10.136, the long-haired ascetic.
The long-hailed ascetic, Kesin, an early precursor of the Upani ascetic yogi, drinks a drug, probably some hallucinogen other than soma, in the company of Rudra, the master of poison and a god who is excluded from the soma sacrifice. The hallucinations described in the hymn are related to, but not the same as those attributed to, soma drinkers in 9.112, 10.119. Its long hair holds fire, holds the drug, holds sky and earth. Long hair reveals everything so that everyone can see the sun. Long hair declares the light. These ascetics, swathed in wind, put dirty red rags on. When gods enter them, they ride with the rush of the wind. Crazy with asceticism, we have mounted the wind. Our bodies are all you mere mortals can see. He sails through the air, looking down on all shapes below. The ascetic is friend to this god and that god, devoted to what is well done. The stallion of the wind, friend of gales, lashed on by gods. The ascetic lives in the two seas, on the east and on the west. He moves with the motion of heavenly girls and youths, of wild beasts. Long hair, reading their minds, is their sweet, their most exciting friend. The wind has churned it up. Kunam Nama prepared it for him. Long hair drinks from the cup, sharing the drug with Rudra.
The notes.
This act is attributed to other Vedic gods too. See paper 1.5z.5. That is, they are naked, but the connection with the wind is also literally important, as in verses 3, 5, and 7. Some are naked, some wear red, later saffron rags. The ascetic rides the wind as if it were a horse. C5. The ascetic controls the wind by controlling his own breath. This act is often attributed to the sun. The ecstatic ascetic takes on the characteristics of several gods. The verse also describes the sensation of flying outside of one's own body. Observed below, CFV 3, the apsarases, or nymphs of heaven, with their companions the Gandharvas. The drug, a female deity who appears only here. Her name may indicate a witch or a hunchback, BSA, a drug or poison.
The Indra.
The Indra, the king of the gods, is frequently mentioned in hymns to other gods. As the great Soma drinker, he appears often in the Soma hymns, C510.10.1.1, and it is he who lure Agni away from the waters or the demons, 10.51, 10.124. He is central to hymns about the Maruts, 1.165, 1.17771, Atri, 5.4, Apala, 8.91, and VRS Akapi, 10.86, and appears as a very important bit player in many others. Indra's family life is troubled in ways that remain unclear. His birth, like that of many great warriors and heroes, is unnatural. There are also strong hints that he may have killed his father, 4.18. So too, he is in turn challenged by his own son, whom he apparently overcomes, 10.28. The incestuous implications in these relationships may have led the Vedic poet to append to one of the Indra hymns the tale of another incestuous birth and infancy, apparently that of Agni, 3.310.10.3.210.1, but the hymns return again and again to clearer and more straightforward stories. The heroic deeds of Indra. The killing of Vr 1.32 is frequently alluded to in other hymns, as is the freeing of the cows in the cave 3.31, 10.108, which shares much of the symbolism and significance of the battle with Vr. Other deeds, such as the beheading of the sacrifice, 10.171, are mentioned without being fully explained in the Rig Veda, though later mythological texts often expand upon them. Indra's famous generosity, particularly when he is exultant from copious draughts of soma, and his endearing anthropomorphism embolden the poet to imagine himself in Indra's place, 8.14. These same qualities, however, may have led worshippers even in Vedic times to devalue Indra, the beginning of a process that culminates in his total loss of worship in the Hindu period. In answer to these implicit expressions of doubt, the poet reaffirms his faith in Indra as the greatest of the Vedic warrior gods, 2.12.
4.18. The birth and childhood deeds of Indra.
This obscure dialogue is partially illuminated by the recognition of its place in Indo-European mythology. It refers, in purposely mysterious tones, to the story of a male god concealed by his mother from a father who threatens to kill him, a father whom he himself then kills. The hymn alternates between narrative and direct discourse. the latter spoken by Indra and his mother, the former by the poet who questions them and elicits answers that attempt to vindicate and justify the actions of the two protagonists. None of the principals in the drama is named except Indra. Later commentary identifies the mother with Aditi and the father with Tiva, who appears in the hymn, though not explicitly as the father. The hymn begins with the story of Indra's birth. His mother kept him in the womb for many years, for, if not, she insists, in absence of maternal feeling, but for Indra's sake, i.e. to protect him. The hymn does not tell us why this was necessary, but it may well be because his father was jealous of Indra's great powers. A suspicion ultimately proved valid when Indra kills his father, V. Well, as the dialogue begins, Indra is still inside the womb and wishes to break out through her side. She attempts to dissuade him, VV1, but he insists on being born, VV2. She then hides him, VV3, presumably still in fear of his father. Again, Indra refuses to be protected, but follows her to Tavastiar's house, where he drinks the soma, VV3. In response to the narrator's accusations, VV3, 4, 5, she calls upon the waters to witness her good motives in treating Indra as she did, EP 667, and speaks of being guiltless of the wounds Indra incurred in fighting the demon VR Tra. 8 plus 9, who is analyzed with Indra's father. The narrator then recapitulates the story of Indra's birth and the slaying of VR Tra, in which Vis and Yu came to Indra's aid, VE 11. Upon being questioned about killing his father, VE 12, Indra protests that he had no choice, being in terrible danger until the eagle brought him the soma, VE 13. This is the ancient, proven path by which all the gods were born and moved upward. By this very path he should be born when he has grown great. He should not make his mother perish in that way. Indra, I cannot come out by that path. These are bad places to go through. I will come out crosswise, through the side. Many things yet undone must I do. One I will fight, and one I will question. He watched his mother as she went away. I cannot help following. I will follow. In Tiva Str's house, Indra drank the soma, worth 100 cows, pressed in the 2 bowls. Why has she pushed him far away, whom she carried for 1,000 months and many autumns? For there is no one his equal among those who are born and those who will be born. As if she thought he was flawed, his mother hid Indra, though he abounded in manly strength. Then he stood up and put his garment on by himself. As he was born, he filled the 2 world halves. Indra's mother. These waters flow happily, shouting alala. Waters that were screaming together like righteous women. Ask them what they are saying. What encircling mountain the waters burst apart? Are they speaking words of praise and invitation to him? Do the waters wish to take on themselves the flaw of Indra? With his great weapon my son killed Vyartra and set these rivers free. Still a young woman, I did not throw you away for my sake, nor did evil childbirth swallow you up for my sake. But for my sake the waters were kind to the child, and for my sake Indra stood up at once. Not for my sake did the shoulderless one wound you, generous Indra, and strike away your 2 jaws. Though wounded, you overpowered him, and with your weapon you crushed the head of the Dasa. The heifer gave birth to the firm, strong, unassailable bull, the stout Indra. The mother let her calf wander unlicked to seek his own ways by himself, and the mother turned to the buffalo, my son, the gods here are deserting you. Then Indra, wanting to kill Viratra, said, Vis Niyu, my friend, stride as far as you can. Who made your mother a widow? Who wished to kill you when you were lying still or moving? What god helped you when you grabbed your father by the foot and crushed him? Because I was in desperate straits. I cooked the entrails of a dog, and I found no one among the gods to help me. I saw my woman dishonored. Then the eagle brought the honey to me.
The notes.
The conventional birth passage through the womb. Indra, like so many folk heroes, refuses to be born in this way. C.F. Soma talking in the womb. 4.27. She argues that he will kill her if he bursts out through her side. In fact, several Indian mythological heroes, including the Buddha, are conceived and/or born through the side without injury to the parent, as is about to be the case with Indra now. But some do indeed kill their mothers, or androgynous fathers, in this way. Vr, who is alluded to several times in this hymn, the verb to question here contrasts with the verb to fight and indicates that Indra will either speak to make a treaty with vis and you, or speak before killing, tva str. The former seems more likely. The question that he asks of vis and you is the request to have him stride forward, Vd 11. The commentator says that she died, but the hymn makes this unlikely. She merely abandons him, as the true mother of the Indo-European hero usually does. CFF 5.20.1 2. Where Agni's mother hides him from his father for many years in her womb. According to later tradition, Indra killed Tiva Str in order to get the Soma away from him. The argument is either, why did she try to kill him when she knew he was so powerful that he couldn't be killed, or why did she try to kill him when she knew he was destined to be a great hero? In fact, she merely pushed him away in order to preserve him. But one is reminded of the mother of Maitreya and Dia, a deity who is traditionally identified as the mother of Indra as well, who pushed her son away to kill him. 10.720.8. The flaw may be a physical birth flaw, such as ma arta ende ahad, the cause of addict rejection of him. Again, this suspicion is invalid. Indra is not physically flawed. But the phrase may also foreshadow the moral flaw, which is to be a problem to Indra, the guilt of the slaughter of V. Arta. Alluded to in verse 7. The waters set free when V.R. Traras killed 1.32.1, 1.32.8, January 32nd, 1112, etc. Also, perhaps, the waters in which Indra was placed to hide him from danger. See 7.5.1. At first the waters scream for help when Vr Tra assaults them. Then they chortle onomatopoetically when they are set free. The cavern where Vr Tra kept the waters penned up. Cf. January 32nd, 11 and 3.310.5. A technical term for a formula of praise and laudatory epithets used to call a god. The flaw or stain is the sin incurred in killing Vr Tra. Later myths narrate at great length the way in which Indra asked the waters and other creatures to take upon themselves a portion of this stain. This may be the name of a demoness who swallows children, whose name indicates that she brings evil to those in childbirth, i.e., causes the death of the child or the mother, or both, or brings forth evil. More likely, however, it is the name of the river who swallows up, Indra, not for the sake of his mother, not because she was a rejecting mother, but for his sake, to save him from danger. The mercy of the waters may be their kindness in adopting him when his mother was forced to abandon him, or their willingness to forgive him for the sin of killing the demon for their benefit and to take part of the sin upon them. Indra's mother takes credit for persuading them to do this, and for letting Indra stand up at once, though earlier, Indra, despite her efforts to hide him. Vr Tra.cf 1.320.5.17. Elsewhere, it is said that Vr Tra wounded Indra in this way, shattering his jaws, January 32nd, 12. Indra's mother seems to be saying that it wasn't her fault that Indra got into such trouble. She had tried to keep him safe in her womb. The serpent is identified with the native enemy or slave of the conquering Aryan. See January 32nd, 11. Indra's mother is here called a cow who has not yet given birth to a calf. Indra is her firstborn. See fact the mothers of Agni as primaparas, 2.350.5. That is, she did not hold him close to her after he was born but pushed him away uncared for, like a cow who fails to eat the afterbirth and lick the calf. Moreover, as Indra was not born through the womb, there would be no afterbirth. Indra, a possible reference to the episode in which the Maruts left Indra to fight Vr Tral alone. This point is debated by the Maruts in 1.1650.667. Indra asks Vsnu to stride forward to help him, but he also refers to Vsnu's famous talent for creating space, as Indra does by killing Vr Tra by striding. See 1.154. This might be a question put by Vsnu to Indra, but is more likely asked by the narrator. That is, while he was still lying in the womb or coming out of it, Indra himself tries to kill the Maruts when they are in the womb of their mother. The same language is used to describe the killing of Vr Trand, the killing of Indra's father. This is not to imply that these are one and the same, but they are strangely linked. Tiva Str is Vr trans father in later Indian tradition. In any case, the two deeds are closely parallel in this hymn. Indra's father must be killed, just as the dragon must be killed. And Indra's mother tries to prevent both slaughters at first, as Artra's mother is said to participate in the battle with Indra in 1.32.9, and finally acquiesces and takes Indra's side, at least in the fight with Artrand, perhaps, by implication, in the parricide. Cf. The way in which the mother of Agni holds Agni by the foot when she abandons him, 1.1640.17, this comes to be the quintessential polluting act in later Hinduism, an act that is particularly used in mythology as an example of what one is allowed to do in dire straits. One may even eat a dog. Indra seems to be arguing that, if this is so, one can surely kill one's father under similar circumstances. Indra's wife has not yet been mentioned in this hymn, nor is it clear why she would be dishonored. Elsewhere, 10.86.1-0.8, 1.860.4, 5.1.860.9, she is dishonored when Indra loses power. And the gambler's wife is dishonored when he is ruined. October 34th, 11. It is possible that the woman is Indra's mother, whom he regards as dishonored by the actions of her husband, Indra's father, and therefore avenges by committing parricide. This seems to contradict the statement that Indra took the soma from Tavas Tr's house, VV3, as well as the implication that Indra accompanied the eagle on the journey to get the soma, 4.260.7, 4.270.34. Evidently, what is meant is that once Indra had killed his father, Tavas Tr, he had access to the soma in all of its forms, 10.28.
Indra chastises his son.
This dialogue begins in medias res, but the situation can be sketchily reconstructed from what follows. A son of Indra gave a sacrifice and invited the gods. All but Indra came to it, for Indra was angry with the son's pretensions to be another Indra. The son's wife worried about Indra's absence, and Indra then appeared, responding to his son's hasty offerings with a series of riddles intended to humble him. The son at first pretends to be too naive to understand, but when Indra speaks more directly about the consequences of challenging the gods, the son asserts himself, and finally, overcome by the violence of Indra's increasingly patent fables, praises the god his father, sacrificer's wife. All the rest of the band of my friends has come, but my husband's father has not come. He would have eaten barley meal and drunk soma and gone back home well fed. Indra, the sharp-horned bull, bellowed as he stood over the height and breadth of the earth. In all combats, I protect the man who presses soma and fills my two bellies. They are pressing out the impetuous, exhilarating soma juices with the pressing stone. For you, Indra. Drink 'em. They are cooking bowls for you. You will eat them, generous Indra, when they summon you with food. Singer. Understand this, that I say, the rivers carry their currents upstream. The fox crept up to the lion from behind. The jackal fell upon the wild boar out of an ambush. How can I, a simpleton, understand what is said by you who are wise and powerful? You who know should tell us truly. Towards which side is your peaceful chariot shaft going, generous one? Indra, they truly praise me as the powerful one. My chariot shaft is going straight up to the lofty sky. I crush down many thousands at once, for my begetter begot me to have no enemy to conquer me. The gods truly know me as the powerful one, a fierce bull in one action after another, Indra. Exhilarated by soma, I killed Vrtra with my thunderbolt, and I opened up the cow pen by force for the devout worshipper. The gods went out and took their axes. They cut down trees and came there with their servants. They laid the good wood in the boxes, but burnt the scrub wood right there. The rabbit swallowed up the knife as it came towards him. With a clod I split the mountain far away. I will put the great in the power of the small. The calf becomes strong and attacks the bull. That is the way the eagle caught his talon and was trapped like a lion caught in a foot snare. Even the buffalo was caught when he got thirsty. A crocodile dragged him away by the foot. In the same way, let a crocodile drag away by the foot all those who oppose the feeding of priests. As they all eat the bulls that have been set free, they themselves destroy the powers of their body. Sacrificer, those who hastened in person to Soma with hymns of praise have become supreme in their sacrificial acts and devout rituals. Speaking like a man, measure out prizes for us. In heaven you have earned fame and the name of hero.
The notes.
The imagery of the first two verses, including the references to Indra's two bellies and the role of the sacrificer's wife, is similar to that of the VRS Akapi hymn, October 86, 1415. Indra implies that the sun, like a fox or jackal, by trying to be Indra, who is like a lion or wild boar, is both creating a topsy-turvy world in which the rivers flow the wrong way and the cowardly animals attack the fierce, and foolishly taking on more than he can handle. The young man who challenges his father in 4.5.2 and 6.9.2.2, that is, are you on the side of simple mortals or wise immortals? The answer in the next verse seems to be that Indra is on his own side, or the side of the gods. The sun here explicitly claims credit for the deeds of Indra, 1.32, 3.31, as other gods do from time to time. In offering the soma that enables Indra to perform these deeds, the sacrificer to a certain extent participates in them. Indra implies that the gods are able to distinguish the good, wood, or Indras from the worthless. The former they take home in boxes on wagons, the latter they destroy. A thinly veiled threat to the pretender. Another allusion to Indra's splitting of the mountain in which the cows were trapped. Saf 3.31. Indra's warning to anyone who takes on too great an opponent or becomes careless. Indra threatens those who take to themselves praise due to the gods, soma due to the gods, or food due to the gods or priests.
1.32. The killing of Vr.
The greatest of Indra's heroic deeds was the slaying of the dragon Vr, an act which also symbolizes the releasing of the waters or rains which Vr held back, the conquest of the enemies of the Aryans, and the creation of the world out of the body of the dragon. The thunderbolt of Indra is a club which, as a phallic symbol, is also a symbol of fertility, the source of seed as well as rain. Sexual imagery also underlies the contrast between the castrated steer and the bull bursting with seed. Rain imagery is also prominent. Vr tries a cloud pierced in his loins or in his bellies, for elsewhere he is said to have swallowed all the universe, which Indra must free from him. The cows to which the waters are compared are also rainclouds. Vr may be imagined as a shoulderless serpent or as a dragon whose arms and legs Indra has just cut off. He is primarily a symbol of danger, constriction, and loss. The battle is waged with magic as well as with weapons. Indra uses magic to make himself as thin as a horse's hair, and Vr trouses magic to create lightning and fog. Indra wins, of course, and verse 14 refers to a similar feat of rescue performed by the eagle, but only as a simile in the context of another myth. Indra is said to have fled after killing Vr, to have been punished for the crime of murder. This hymn, however, ends on a note of affirmation for Indra's victory. Let me now sing the heroic deeds of Indra, the first that the thunderbolt wielder performed. He killed the dragon and pierced an opening for the waters. He split open the bellies of mountains. He killed the dragon who lay upon the mountain. Svastir fashioned the roaring thunderbolt for him. Like lowing cows, the flowing waters rushed straight down to the sea. Wildly excited like a bull, he took the soma for himself and drank the extract from the 3 bowls in the 3-day soma ceremony. Indra the generous seized his thunderbolt to hurl it as a weapon. He killed the firstborn of dragons. Indra, when you killed the firstborn of dragons and overcame by your own magic the magic of the magicians, at that very moment you brought forth the sun, the sky, and dawn. Since then you have found no enemy to conquer you. With his great weapon, the thunderbolt, Indra killed the shoulderless Vr, his greatest enemy. Like the trunk of a tree whose branches have been lopped off by an axe, the dragon lies flat upon the ground. 4. Muddled by drunkenness like one who is no soldier, Vr tralised the great hero who had overcome the mighty and who drank soma to the dregs. Unable to withstand the onslaught of his weapons, he found Indra an enemy to conquer him and was shattered, his nose crushed. Without feet or hands, he fought against Indra, who struck him on the nape of the neck with his thunderbolt. The steer who wished to become the equal of the bull bursting with seed, Vr lay broken in many places. Over him as he lay there like a broken reed, the swelling waters flowed for man. Those waters that Vr lay enclosed with his power, the dragon now lay at their feet. The vital energy of Vr's mother ebbed away. for Indra had hurled his deadly weapon at her. Above was the mother, below was the son. Danu lay down like a cow with her calf. In the midst of the channels of the waters which never stood still or rested, the body was hidden. The waters flow over Vyartra's secret place. He who found Indra an enemy to conquer him sank into long darkness. The waters who had the Dasa for their husband, the dragon for their protector, were imprisoned like the cows imprisoned by the Pa-in-is. When he killed Vyartra, he split open the outlet of the waters that had been closed. Indra, you became a hair of a horse's tail when Vyartra struck you on the corner of the mouth. You, the one god, the brave one, you won the cows, you won the Soma, you released the 7 streams so that they could flow. No use was the lightning and thunder, fog and hail that he 6 had scattered about when the dragon and Indra fought. Indra the generous remained victorious for all time to come. What avenger of the dragon did you see, Indra, that fear entered your heart when you had killed him? Then you crossed the 99 streams like the frightened eagle crossing the realms of earth and air. Indra, who wields the thunderbolt in his hand, is the king of that which moves and that which rests, of the tame and of the horned. He rules the people as their king, encircling all this as a rim encircles spokes.
The nodes.
CF.4.26, 7.tiva. STR is the artisan of the gods, sometimes an enemy of Indra, STF 4.12, but here his ally. STF. October 14th, 16. Manu was the eponymous ancestor of mankind. The verse may refer to the waters that flowed at the time of the Great Flood, when Manu alone was saved, or to the waters that flowed for the sake of mankind at the time of the piercing of VR. Tra. STR, STA Fun, 1.1650.8. The latter seems more likely, or both at once. Danu is the mother of Vyartra and of other demons called Danavas. Dasa is another name for Vyartra and also in the sense of slave for other human and demonic enemies of Indra. The Pan are a group of such enemies, said to have stolen and penned up the cows until Indra released them, see 3.31 and 10.10. He is Vyartra, trying his magic in vain against Indra's. See 4, possibly the eagle, Indra in disguise, stole the Soma, 4.2677. According to Sayana, the tame are animals that do not attack, such as horses and donkeys, while the horned are fierce animals like buffaloes and bulls.
3.31. The cows in the cave.
Indra split open the cave where the cows were pent up, releasing them and winning them. This myth expresses simultaneously the successful cattle raids of the Indo-Aryans against the people they conquered, the process of birth out of the womb, the releasing of the waters, symbolized by cows, pent up by the demons of drought, the finding and hence creating of the dawn rays of the sun, also symbolized by cows, and the poet's discovery and release of his own inspirations. The martial level of the myth is fleshed out by references to Indra's assistants. Simultaneously, the Angira's priests, who thus tie the myth to the 4th level, the poet's inspiration, and the Maruts, or storm clouds, tying it to the 2nd level, the end of the drought. The theme of finding and creating the sun is expanded in the first 3 verses of the hymn, which describe the birth of fire in an obscure allegory of incest that also alludes to the winning of treasure, the wealth of cattle again. The driver wise in the law came, speaking devoutly as he chastened his daughter's daughter. When the father strove to pour into his daughter, his heart eagerly consented. The son of the body did not leave the inheritance to the sister. He made her womb a treasure house for the winner. When the mothers give birth to the driver, one of the 2 who do good deeds is the maker, and the other derives the gain. Trembling with his tongue, Agni was born to honor the sons of the great rosy one. Great was the embryo, great was their birth, and great the growth, through sacrifice of the lord of bay horses. The conquerors surrounded the challenger. They brought forth great light out of darkness. The dawns recognized him and came to meet him. Indra became the only lord of cows. The wise ones struck a path for those who were in the cave. The 7 priests drove Tim-O with thoughts pressing forward. They found all the paths of the right way. The one who knew was the one who entered them, bowing low. If Sarama finds the breach in the mountain, she will complete her earlier great path-finding. The swift-footed let out the head of the undying syllables. Knowing the way, she was the first to go towards the cry. The most inspired one came, behaving like a friend. The mountain made ripe the fruit of its womb for the one who performed great deeds. The young hero proving his generosity won success with the youths. Then, Angiras right away became a singer of praise. The image of this creature and that creature, he knows all who are born. Standing in the forefront, he killed Susna. Knowing the path of the sky, longing for cows, he went before us, singing. The friend freed his friends from dishonor. With a heart longing for cows, they sat down while with their songs they made the road to immortality. This is their very seat, still often used now, the lawful way by which they wished to win the months. Glancing about, they rejoiced in their own possessions, as they milked out the milk of the ancient seed. Their shout heated the two worlds. They arranged the offspring, dividing the cows among the men. He himself, Indra the killer of Vrtra, with songs released the rosy cows together with the offspring and the oblation. Stretching far, the cow was milked of the sweet, honey-like butter that she had held for him. They made a seat for him as for a father, for these great deeds revealed a great, shining seat. They propped their two parents apart with a pillar. Sitting down, they raised the wild one high up, when the abundant female determined to crush down the one who had grown great in a single day and had pervaded the two world halves. All irresistible powers came to Indra, in whom flawless praises come together. I long for your great friendship, for your powerful help. Many gifts go to the killer of Vrtra. Great is praise, we have come to the kindness of the Lord. Generous Indra, be good to us as our shepherd. He won great land and much wealth, and he sent the booty to his friends. Radiant with his men, Indra gave birth to the sun, the dawn, motion, and fire. This house friend has loosed into a single channel even the wide dispersed waters that shine with many colors. The honeyed waters made clear by the inspired filters, rushing along by day and night they drive forward. The two dark bearers of treasure, worthy of sacrifice, follow the sun with his consent. When your beloved, impetuous friends embrace your splendor to draw it to them. Killer of Vrtra, be the lord of lovely gifts, the bull who gives life to songs of praise for a whole lifespan. Come to us with kind and friendly favors, with great help, quickly, O great one. Like Angiras, I honor him and bow to him, making new for the Ancient One a song that was born long ago. Thwart the many godless lies, and let us win the sun, generous Indra. The mists that were spread about have become transparent. Guide us safely across them. You, our charioteer, must protect us from injury. Soon, Indra, soon, make us winners of cows. The killer of Vrtra's lord of cows has shown us cows. He went among the dark ones with his rosy forms, revealing lovely gifts in the right way. He has opened up all his own gates. For success in this battle, where there are prizes to be won, we will invoke the generous Indra, most manly and brawny, who listens and gives help in combat, who kills enemies and wins riches.
The notes.
Agni is here, and in verse 2 referred to as the driver or transporter, the one who carries the oblation to the gods in his chariot. The extended metaphor of the first 3 verses may represent the priest as the father, his daughter as the sacrificial butter held in the spoon, and the son as the fire begotten by the priest. The priest pours butter into the spoon, and the father pours seed into his daughter. The winner is the son or brother who apparently marries his sister so that her inheritance, the treasure, passes back through him to his heirs. For incest with brother and father, cf/pus, and with his mother and sister, 6.55. In the ritual metaphor, the inheritance is the butter, which falls from the spoon, her womb, into the fire. The mothers of Agni are the kindling sticks, or the hands that hold them. The two who do good deeds, also regarded as the mothers of Agni, are the priest who makes the fire and the sacrificer who derives the gain from it. The Angiras priests, who tend Agni and own cows, are born of the rosy sky. Indra is the lord of bay horses, grown and aided in battle by the priests, Angirases, who feed him soma in their sacrifices. The Maruts and Angirases are the conquerors who closely surround Indra, the challenger not of them, but of the cattle thieves. The priests, again, the noun is feminine, referring to the cows, the bitch of Indra, the swift-footed one who finds the way to the cave, cf 10.108. The first part of this verse may be spoken by Indra. Here the cows are explicitly identified with sacred speech. Cf 10.164. Indra, or the leader of the Angirases, called Angiras, may be the inspired one exalted by drinking soma. Cf 10.108. He feigns friendship as Sarama is tempted to do. Cf 10.1080.9. That is, the mountain yielded its contents, the cows, to Indra. Angiras praises Indra in order to strengthen him. The song may be directly quoted in the next verse. Susna is the demon of drought. The Angirases sit down to perform the sacrifice that will give Indra the strength to win the cows who give the milk of immortality, and to acquire the power of the monthly sacrifices, or the list of months in which the sacrifice was offered. The milk of the cows is equated with seed and with rain. They distributed the booty of calves and cows, the calves, as milk, being gifts for the priests. Indra is like a father to the Angirases. The seat is both his resting place and a term for the special sacrifice, sutra, performed by the Angirases on Indra's behalf. The priests separate the worlds, making a place for the sacrifice to Indra by revealing the space of the realm between sky and earth. The sun, created here as usual, by the propping apart of sky and earth, as well as by being discovered in the cave. An obscure term, Dajana, designating the bowl of Soma, the bowl of sky or of earth, or a goddess of abundance. Here she inspires Indra. Indra's deed of freeing the cows from the cave is assimilated to his deed of killing Vrtra, who grew great in one day, and releasing the waters. The worshipper addresses Indra directly. Perhaps the orbit of the sun, or the passing of time, or the course of the sacrifice. That is, they drive transitively the horses who pull the chariots of the waters that mix with the soma. The dark ones are night and twilight. The merits, 1.12.2.cf, the dispersed mists of Vrtra, January 32nd, 13. The dark ones are the aboriginal enemies of the Aryans, or the dark forces of evil, illuminated by the rosy lights of the dawns/merits/priests, as in verse
17, 10.108. Sarama and the Pants.
This conversation takes place in the midst of a myth told in later texts at some length. The Panis are demons who live in the sky on the other side of the river Rasa that separates the world of gods and men from the world of demons. The name also refers to tribal people who are the enemies of the Vedic people on earth. These Panis stole the cows of the Angirases and hid them in mountain caves. The sages joined with the gods, Indra, Soma, Agni, and Brahaspati, to get the cattle back. They sent Sarama, the bitch of Indra, to follow the trail of the cows, which she succeeded in doing. Reaching the hiding place, she engaged in the conversation recorded in this hymn, one in which the Panis appear at first secure and sarcastic, but soon become worried and attempt, unsuccessfully, to bribe Sarama. The Panis, with what desire has Sarama come to this place? The road stretches far into distant lands. What is your mission to us? How did you find your way here? And how did you cross the waters of the Rasa? I have journeyed here, sent as the messenger of Indra, and I desire your great treasures, O Panis. Because they feared being jumped across, they helped me to do it. Thus I crossed the waters of the Rasa. Panis, what is Indra like, Sarama? What is the appearance of him who sent you here as his messenger from afar? If he comes here, we will make friends with him, and he will be the herdsman of our cattle. Sarama, I know him as one who cannot be tricked. He tricks others. He who sent me here as his messenger from afar. The deep streams do not hide him. You, Panis, will lie there slain by Indra. These are the cows which you desire, lovely Sarama, having flown beyond the ends of the sky. Who would release them to you without a fight? And we have sharp weapons. Sarama, your words, O Panis, are no armies. Your evil bodies may be proof against arrows. The path that goes to you may be impregnable, but Brahaspati will not spare you in either case. Panis, Sarama, this treasure room, full of cows, horses, and riches, is set firm in cliffs of rock. Panis, who are good sentinels, guard it. You have come in vain on this empty path. The sages, Ayasyas, Angirasyas, and Navagvas, roused by Soma, will share this enclosed cave of cattle among them. Then the Panis will spit back these words. Sarama, since you have come here, compelled by the force of the gods, we will make you our sister. Do not go back, fair one. We will give you a share of the cattle. Sarama, I know no brotherhood nor sisterhood. Indra and the Angirases, who inspire terror, know them. When I left them, they seemed to me to be desirous of cattle. Pan is, run far away from here. Run far into the distance, Pan is. Let the cattle come out by the right path and disappear. The cattle which be Raspati, the inspired sages, the pressing stones and Soma found when they had been hidden.
The notes.
They are point 3t, the waters. At the critical moment of the journey, the river Rasa was worried about losing her reputation as a great river if a dog could jump across her. So she helped Sarama by building a ford, a possible reference to VR trallying under the water, killed by Indra. Cf 1.32.8, January 32nd, 10. For tricking the tricky. Cf 1.33.4, families of Vedic sages.
10.171, Indra beheads the sacrifice.
You, Indra, helped forward the chariot of Itat, who pressed Soma. You heard the call of the man who offered Soma. You severed from his skin the head of the rebellious sacrifice and went with it to the home of the man who offered Soma. You, Indra, set loose in a moment the mortal Venya for Astrabudna when he thought of it. You, Indra, should bring to the east the sun that is now in the west, even against the will of the gods.
The notes.
An allusion to the myth, later expanded, that Indra in anger beheaded the sacrifice when it threatened the gods and became incarnate in human form. Venya is known to the Rig Veda, but all else in this verse is obscure. The sun was thought to travel from west to east by night, under the earth. Why the gods should oppose this is unclear.
8.14, If I were like you, Indra.
If I were like you, Indra, and all alone ruled over riches, the man who praised me would have the company of cows. I would do my best for him. I would want to give things to the sage, O husband of power, if I were the lord of cattle. For the one who sacrifices and presses Soma, your opulence is a cow milked of the cattle and horses with which she swells to overflowing. There is no one, neither god nor mortal, who obstructs your generosity, Indra, when you are praised and you wish to give rich gifts. The sacrifice made Indra grow greater when he rolled back the earth and made the sky his own diadem. We ask help from you, Indra, you who have grown great and have won all treasures. In the ecstasy of Soma, Indra spread out the middle realm of space and the lights. When he shattered Vala, he drove out the cows for the Angirases, making visible those that had been hidden, and he hurled Vala down headlong. The lights of the sky were made firm and fast by Indra, so that they cannot be pushed away from their fixed place. Like the exhilarating wave of the waters, your praise, Indra, hastens along. Your ecstasies have shone forth. For the hymns of praise and the songs of praise make you grow great, Indra, and you bring happiness to the singer of praises. Let the two long-maned bay horses bring Indra to drink Soma here at the sacrifice of the giver of rich gifts. With the foam of the waters, Indra, you tore off the head of the demon who would not let go when you conquered all challengers. You whirled down the Dasyus who wanted to climb up to the sky, Indra, when they had crept up by using their magic spells. You scattered to every side the ones that did not press Soma. As Soma drinker, you are supreme.
The notes.
Adam is the demon who pens up the cows, as in 3.31, though he is not named in that hymn. The demon Nemuchi, W.H. Farron, February 12th, 1212.
2.12, Who is Indra?
As if to answer the challenges of the atheists, or at least of those who question the divinity of Indra, in Define verse 5, the poet insists that Indra is indeed the god who did what he is said to have done. These concerns, and the verbal patterns used to express them, are repeated in a later hymn about the Creator, 10.121, the God who had insight the moment he was born, the first who protected the gods with his power of thought, before whose hot breath the two world halves tremble at the greatness of his manly powers. He, my people, is Indra, he who made fast the tottering earth, who made still the quaking mountains, who measured out and extended the expanse of the air, who propped up the sky. He, my people, is Indra, he who killed the serpent and loosed the 7 rivers, who drove out the cows that had been pent up by Vala, who gave birth to fire between two stones. The winner of booty in combats, he, my people, is Indra. He by whom all these changes were wrung, who drove the race of Dasas down into obscurity, who took away the flourishing wealth of the enemy as a winning gambler takes the stake. He, my people, is Indra. He about whom they ask, where is he? Or they say of him, the terrible one, he does not exist. He who diminishes the flourishing wealth of the enemy as gambling does, believe in him. He, my people, is Indra. He who encourages the weary and the sick, and the poor priest who is in need, who helps the man who harnesses the stones to press soma. He who has lips fine for drinking. He, my people, is Indra. He under whose command are horses and cows and villages and all chariots, who gave birth to the sun and the dawn and led out the waters. He, my people, is Indra. He who is invoked by both of two armies, enemies locked in combat, on this side and that side. He who is even invoked separately by each of two men standing on the very same chariot. For he, my people, is Indra. He without whom people do not conquer. He whom they call on for help when they are fighting, who became the image of everything, who shakes the unshakable. He, my people, is Indra. He who killed with his weapon all those who had committed a great sin, even when they did not know it. He who does not pardon the arrogant man for his arrogance, who is the slayer of the Dasyus. He, my people, is Indra. He who in the 40th autumn discovered Sambara living in the mountains, who killed the violent serpent, the Danu, as he lay there. He, my people, is Indra. He, the mighty bull who with his 7 reins let loose the 7 rivers to flow, who with his thunderbolt in his hand hurled down Rauhina as he was climbing up to the sky. He, my people, is Indra. Even the sky and the earth bow low before him, and the mountains are terrified of his hot breath. He who is known as the Soma drinker, with the thunderbolt in his hand, with the thunderbolt in his palm, he, my people, is Indra. He who helps with his favor, the one who presses and the one who cooks, the praiser and the preparer, he for whom prayer is nourishment, for whom Soma is the special gift, he, my people, is Indra. You and who furiously grasp the prize, for the one who presses and the one who cooks, you are truly real. Let us be dear to you, Indra, all our days, and let us speak as men of power in the sacrificial gathering.
The notes.
Vala is an enemy, human or demonic, who kept the cows from Indra. See 8.14.7.8 and 3.31. The fire kindled by flints, or the sun or lightning between the two worlds. Dasasas, also called Dasyus, as in V10, are the enemies of the Aryans, called slaves and enslaved. The image of the two armies is expanded in the corresponding hymn, 0.121.6. The two men on the same chariot are the charioteer/priest and the warrior/king. Sambara was a demon who kept the Soma from Indra in mountain fortresses, 0.40, 0.360.3. Vatra, Tra cf. 1.320.9. A more obscure enemy, about whom nothing but this is known, Vatra cf. August 14th, 0.14. The one who presses and the one who cooks the Soma. Here the poet addresses Indra directly, closing with traditional phrases.
Gods of the storm closely.
Associated with Indra in his capacity as god of the thunderstorm, the Maruts are also linked to Rudra, 1.85 cf, 2.33, and 1.114. It is precisely the overlapping of their functions with those of Indra that underlies a series of hymns debating their several rights to the sacrificial offering, 1.165, 1.17, 1.171 and 1. Ultimately, Indra is affirmed to be supreme. Indra is also intimately connected with Parjanya, the rain cloud, who is, like Indra, called a bull, 5.83, but is also called a cow, 7.11. This androgyny appears elsewhere in the Rig Veda, associated with sky and earth, and Soma and Agni, but in later mythology it becomes an important characteristic of Prajapati and Siva. Vata, the gale, a less important but equally vivid aspect of the storm, is said to drive a chariot, 10.6.64, like the sun and the sacrifice. Parjanya and Vata differ from the Maruts in being relatively straightforward personifications of natural phenomena. The Maruts, like Indra, are multivalent, symbolizing warriors and acting as aids to mankind, as well as bringing fertilizing storms.
1.85 The Maruts.
The Maruts are wind gods portrayed always as a group, as a band of warriors who serve Indra. Since Rudra is their father, they are also called Rudras. Their mother is the dappled cow of earth, Prisni. The team of horses on the course, the Maruts, the sons of Rudra, workers of marvels, adorn themselves like women and made the two world halves grow strong. Trembling, the heroes drink to ecstasy in the right. They have grown to greatness. The Rudras have made a mansion in heaven. Singing their song and creating the power of Indra, one they whose mother is the dappled cow have put on glory. When the handsome ones whose mother is a cow adorn themselves with their ornaments, they put shining things on their bodies. They drive away every attacker. Butter flows all along their path. Good warriors who shine forth with their spears, shaking with their formidable power even those who cannot be shaken. When you Maruts have yoked to your chariots the dappled gazelles swift as thought. When you have yoked the dappled gazelles to your chariots, speeding the stone forward to win the contest, then the streams are let loose from the chestnut stallion. Like a leather skin, they wet the earth with water. Let your swift gliding teams bring you here. Flying swiftly with your arms come forward. Sit down on the sacred grass. A wide seat has been made for you Maruts. Drink in ecstasy from the sweet juice. They grew great by their own power. They climbed up to the dome of the sky and made for themselves a broad seat. When Viz and you helped the bull excited by soma drinking, they sat down like birds on the beloved sacred grass, striding briskly like heroes ready to fight. Like men eager for fame, they array themselves for battles. All creatures fear the Maruts. These men with terrible faces are like kings. When the artful Tvaz Tr had turned the well-made golden thunderbolt with its 1,000 spikes, Indra took it to do heroic deeds. He killed Vr Tra and set free the flood of waters. They forced up the fountain with their power. They split open even the mountain on its solid base. Blowing their reed pipe, the Maruts who give fine gifts performed joyous deeds in the ecstasy of drinking soma. They forced up the fountain in a stream that shot to the side. They poured out the spring for the thirsty Gautama. Shining brilliantly, they came to him with aid. They fulfilled the desire of the sage in their own way. The shelters that you have for the devout man, extend them threefold to the man who believes in you. Give them to us, O Maruts, bulls. Give us the wealth of fine heroes.
The notes.
As the poet gives power to Indra by singing the hymn, so the Maruts give themselves Indra's powers by singing their howling storm songs. Butter is here symbolic of rain and the sap of life, as well as the ritual offering and the soma that the Maruts love. Unspecified female dappled animals pull the Maruts' chariots. They could be mates, but other Rigvedic evidence makes it more likely that they are gazelles. The winds compete in hurling rocks and crushing boulders, as men compete in bowling or shot put. The rain is the sperm or urine of the horse of heaven, the cloud or heaven itself. The image is that of a wineskin bag pouring out the rain, as simile in the hymn to Paryanya 5.830.7. A secondary connotation might be the pouring down of water onto the earth, likened to a skin being tanned with fluids. That is, flapping your arms like wings to speed you faster. F-10.10.3. The bull is Indra. When V and you helped Indra in the fight against Vritra, the Maruts came and helped too. But C.1650.6 turned on his lathe, the Maruts. A reference to a story told by the commentator, the sage Gautama was afflicted with thirst and prayed to the Maruts for water. They made a fountain in the distance, brought it near him, gave it to him to drink from, and bathed him in it. As Indra pierced the mountain to release the waters in the fight with Vritra, that is, the poet singing the present hymn. Literally, the wealth that consists in having fine heroes, but also by implication, the wealth brought by fine heroes.
1.165, 1.17, 1.171, Indra, the Maruts, and Agastya.
In this group of hymns, Indra and the Maruts argue over their rights to a sacrificial offering. This sacrifice is attributed by tradition to the sage Agastya, though his name is mentioned only once in the hymns. Several texts offer different versions of the myth underlying this cycle. Agastya had dedicated 100 dappled cows to the Maruts, but he sacrificed them to Indra. The Maruts became angry and went to Agastya, who sang these hymns to conciliate them. Indra took away the cows intended for the Maruts. The Maruts grabbed his thunderbolt. Then Agastya and Indra conciliated the Maruts with these hymns. Agastya took an offering that had been dedicated to Indra and wanted to give it to the Maruts. Despite the variations, the underlying conflict is consistent and forms a thread through all the hymns in the series, a thread that conforms most closely to the second of the three variant glosses. In the first hymn, 165, Indra wishes to go to Agastya's sacrifice and encounters the Maruts in heaven. As their conversation progresses, Indra becomes more and more confident, the Maruts more and more subdued. Finally, they refer to their former praise of him and Ali his anger, and they all go together to the sacrifice. In an intervening hymn not translated here, 1.169, the reconciliation is further developed. Then, 1.171, Agastya is faced with the problem of choosing between the mighty Indra and the now somewhat chastened Maruts. Finally, 1.171, Agastya apologizes to both Indra and the Maruts and prays to all of them.
1.165 Indra and the Maruts.
With what shared finery have the Maruts, who are of the same youth, from the same nest, mingled together? With what intention and from what place have they come? These bulls sing their breathless song in their desire to win riches. Whose chants have the young men taken pleasure in? Who has turned the Maruts to his sacrifice? With what great thought will we make them stop here as they swoop through the middle realm of space? Indra, where are you coming from, all alone though you are so mighty? What is your intention, true Lord? Will you make a pact with us now that you have met us in our finery? Master of bay horses, tell us what your purpose is for us. The chants, the thoughts, the soma pressings are good for me. Breathlessness surges in me. The pressing stone is set out for me. The hymns are longing, waiting for me. These two bay horses are carrying us to them. Because of this, we have adorned our bodies and harnessed the self-willed horses next to the chariot. And now we have yoked Das for greater power. Indra, you have always acknowledged our independent spirit. Where was that independent spirit of yours, Maruts, when you left me all alone in the fight with the dragon? I was the one, fierce and strong and mighty, who bent aside the lethal weapons of every enemy with my own weapons. You did much with us as allies, with our manly powers yoked in common, O bull. For we will do much, most valiant Indra, if we set our minds and will to do it, O Maruts. I killed Vitra, O Maruts, by my Indra power, having grown strong through my own glorious rage. With the thunderbolt on my arm, I made these all-luminous waters move well for man. No one can overcome your power, generous Indra. No one, your equal, is known to exist among the gods. No one being born now or already born could get such power. Do the things you will do, as you have grown strong. Even when I am alone, my formidable power must be vast. Whatever I boldly set out to do, I do. For I am known as terrible, O Maruts. Whatever I set in motion, Indra himself is master of that. Your praise has made me rejoice, lordly Maruts, the sacred chant worthy of hearing that you made here for me, for Indra the bull, the good fighter, that you, my friends, made in person for me, your friend, in person. Thus they shine forth facing me, the blameless band, who take to themselves fame and the drink of ecstasy. Luminous and golden Maruts, you have pleased me when I looked at you, and you will please me now, the poet. Who has celebrated you here, 8 Maruts? Journey as friends to your friends, shining brightly, inspire thoughts. Be witness to these truths of mine. Since the wisdom of Manya brought us here, as the hope of gifts brings the singer to one who gives, therefore turn to the inspired seer. Let the singer chant these sacred words for you, Maruts. This praise is for you, Maruts, this song of the poet Mandarya Manya. Let him obtain vital strength for his body through the nourishing and inspiring drink. Let us find a welcoming circle of sacrificers who shower us with gifts.
The notes.
Indra wishes to conceive an idea so arresting that it will stop the Maruts in their tracks as they fly between sky and earth. Here, as in verse 1, breathlessness indicates the excitement of combat. That is, because the sacrifice is ready and the Maruts want to have it themselves. The gazelles are yoked in front in addition to the horses right next to the chariot. Indra mocks the Maruts for their independence and accuses them of remaining uncommitted when he fought Vritra. April 18th, 11. Here the speaker is addressing the other Maruts as if to elicit their support in his boast to Indra. A reference to the episode in which, after killing Vyartra and releasing the waters, in cf 1.320.8, the poet asks, what sacrificer here, i.e. on earth rather than in heaven where the conversation has been taking place, has attracted the Maruts? This verse also makes sense in the mouth of the poet, who has come to the sacrifice in hope of being given gifts, or even in the mouth of the Maruts, one of whom would be addressing the others, as in verse, this may be a name of Agastya or of his son.
1.17 Agastya and the Maruts.
Indra is silent during this conversation, but both groups of speakers address most of their remarks to him. Today is nothing, and tomorrow is nothing. Who understands the mystery? If one depends on someone else's intention, all that one wished for is ruined. Why do you want to destroy us, Indra? The Maruts are your brothers. Treat them well. Do not kill us in a violent clash. Brother Agastya, why do you dishonor us, though you are our friend? For we know what is in your mind. You do not wish to give us anything. Agastya, make ready the altar. Kindle the fire in front of it. In it we too will spread a memorable sacrifice for you, the immortal. Lord of riches, you rule over riches. Lord of friendship, you are the best reconciler of friends. Speak in agreement with the Maruts, Indra, and eat the oblations at the right ritual moment.
The nodes.
Agastya seems to be apologizing to the Maruts for making the offering to Indra. He argues that Indra took away what Agastya had intended for the Maruts, and he is helpless to prevent it. This is an indirect answer to Agastya's apology in verse 1. They argue that he did not even intend to sacrifice to them, and indeed he then speaks to Indra alone. In the fire, or perhaps in the altar, perhaps Agastya together with another priest, his son, 1.1650.14. Here, Agastya speaks only to Indra, though he goes on to ask Indra to conciliate the rejected Maruts.
1.171 Agastya prays to Indra and the Maruts.
I come to you with this homage, and with a hymn I beg for the kindness of the mighty. Willingly and knowingly lay aside your spiteful anger, Maruts. Unharness your horses. This praise and homage fashioned in the heart and in the mind was made for you, Maruts, for you who are gods. Come and enjoy it with your mind, for you are the ones who make homage grow. Let the Maruts have mercy on us when they have been praised, and the generous and most beneficent one has been praised. Let our smooth wood stand up and ready all our days, O Maruts, through our desire to conquer. I shrank away from this mighty Indra, trembling in fear, O Maruts. It was for you that the oblations were laid out, but we set them aside. Forgive us. The fame by which the Manas became distinguished for their power in the daybreaks of all the successive dawns. Give us that fame, O strong and terrible bull with the terrible Maruts, giver of overpowering strength. Protect your men from those who could overpower them by force, O Indra. Make the Maruts give up their spiteful anger, for they bring good omens. You have been made the overpowering conqueror. Let us find a welcoming circle of sacrificers who shower us with gifts.
The notes.
In the plural, addressing the Maruts, as the rest of the verse makes clear, that is, stop here and accept our sacrifice. Indra, perhaps a metaphor for the fire sticks, the spear, or the phallus. That is, we gave them to Indra instead, because he frightened us. Perhaps the name of generous patrons, who gave the cows of dawn to the priests. C15. Indra is the terrible, overpowering bull, here asked to overpower the Maruts. Having apologized to the Maruts in 1.17, Agastya now asks Indra, who is supposed to be on Agastya's side, having accepted his sacrifice, to protect his men, i.e. his worshippers, from those who are more powerful, the Maruts.
5.83 Parjanya, the bull.
Only 3 hymns are dedicated to Parjanya, who is the personification of the rainclube, often represented as a male animal, closely associated with thunder and lightning. He inspires vegetation and produces fertility in cows, mares, and women. So rich is the abundance with which he responds to the poet's plea that at the end of the hymn he is begged not to send too much rain. Summon the powerful god with these songs. Praise Parjanya, win him over with homage. The bellowing bowl, freely flowing with luscious drops, places his seed in the plants as an embryo. He shatters the trees and slaughters the demons. He strikes terror into every creature with his enormous deadly weapon. Even the sinless man gives way before the god bursting with seed like a bull, when the thundering Parjanya slaughters those who do evil. Like a charioteer lashing his horses with a whip, he makes his messengers of rain appear. From the distance arise the thunder peals of a lion, when Parjanya makes the sky full of rain clouds. The winds blow forth, the lightnings fly, the plants surge up, the sky swells, the sun overflows. The sap of life quickens in every creature when Parjanya refreshes the earth with his seed. By your law the earth bends low. By your law all animals with hoofs quiver. By your law plants of all forms bloom. By these powers Parjanya grant us safe shelter. Give us rain from heaven, O Maruts. Make the streams of the seed-bearing stallion overflow as they swell. Come here with your thunder, pouring down waters, for you are our Father, the bright sky god. Bellow and thunder, lay your seed. Fly in circles around the world in your chariot, full of water. Drag the leather water bag upside down, untied. Let the hills and the valleys become level. Draw up the enormous bucket and pour it down. Let the streams flow forth, set free. Drench heaven and earth with butter. Let there be a good drinking place for the cows, Parjanya. When you bellow loudly and thunder and slaughter those who do evil, everything that exists upon the earth rejoices. You have sent the rain, now hold it back. You have made the deserts easy to cross over. You have made the plants grow so that there is food, and you have found inspired poetry for living creatures.
The notes.
The thunderbolt, clouds foretelling rain, or the matuts. He drives them as the charioteer drives horses. According to Indian theory, during the rainy season, the sun flows with the water that it has drawn up during the preceding hot season. Here, at the very brink of the storm, the sun begins to pour back its rain. See Asen Blanco, point 1.2. The water rises so high that both hills and valleys are covered. CF 1.850.5 for the leather bag.
7.11 Parjanya, the cow.
The poet addresses the rain clube, Parjanya, whose three voices are lightning, thunder, and rain. Though he is a bowl full of seed, his udder is the cloud milked of rain, and his calf is the fire born of lightning. The three lights may be the lights of the three worlds, or fire, sun, and moon, or wind. The sterile, i.e. milkless cow, is the cloud that does not give rain. The cow that brings forth is the cloud that rains. The mother, earth, receives the milk, rain godder, from the father, the sky. The sky thrives on the rain, and the sun, the group of creatures on earth, thrives on water. Raised to three voices, with light going before them, voices that milk the udder that gives honey. The bull created the calf, the embryo of the plants, and roared as he was born. The God who causes the plants to increase and the waters, who rules over the entire world, may he grant us triple refuge and comfort, the triple light that is of good help to us. Now he becomes a barren female, now one who gives birth. He takes whatever body he wishes. The mother receives the milk of the father. With it the father increases and prospers, and with it the son thrives. All worlds rest on him, the triple skies and the triple flowing waters. The three vats that drench pour forth in all directions the overflowing honey. Let this speech reach close to the heart of Parjanya, who rules by himself, and let him rejoice in it. Let life-giving rains come to us, and let the plants guarded by the gods bear good berries. He is the bull who places the seed in all plants. In him is the vital breath of what moves and what is still. Let this truth protect me for 100 autumns. Protect us always with blessings.
The notes.
On another level, the subject of the verse may be soma. The three voices are the chants when the soma is pressed, and the udder that gives honey is the soma plant, while in the cosmic metaphor it is the rainclude, the udder of the heavenly cow. In this verse, the ritual level would make soma the sun. The rain enters the soma plant and later returns to the cloud as evaporation, or more likely to heaven, the gods in the form of a soma oblation. Again, the three vats are clouds full of rain, or soma vessels full of soma.
10.168, the gale wind.
This hymn is to Vata, a particularly violent and concrete form of the wind. Oh, the power and glory of the chariot of the gale! It breaks things into pieces as it passes by, making a sound like thunder. Touching the sky as it moves, it makes red streaks. Passing along the earth, it scatters the dust. The tempests race together after the gale. They come to him like women to a rendezvous. Yoked with them to a single chariot, the God who is the king of this whole universe passes by, moving along his paths in the middle realm of space. He does not rest even for a single day. Friend of the waters, firstborn keeper of the law, where was he born? What was he created from? Breath of the gods, embryo of the universe, this God wanders wherever he pleases. His sounds are heard, but his form is not seen. Let us worship the gale with oblation.
The notes.
The red streaks may be the redness of the sky during Tain or the chestnut horses of the wind. The term is also used of the clouds at dawn, especially when there is thunder, and of the ruddy hue of lightning. These are the extensions or companions of the wind. Whirlwinds or downpours, feminine beings. See PF 1.1640.4.
The solar gods.
In the 19th century, Max Muller conceived and popularized the theory that all the gods of the Rig Veda were aspects of the sun. Solar mythology has now been eclipsed, but it is certainly true that many of the Vedic gods have some connection with the sun, that many of the creation hymns involve the discovery of the sun, and that many of the closing benedictions include a plea that the worshipper may continue to see the sun. Vishnu is a particularly solar god, cf. 1.144, and Agni and Soma have strong solar characteristics. Other gods are more vaguely solar, being described as shining or golden and dwelling in the sky. There is, in addition, a group of gods connected with the sun in various concrete ways. Dawn is incarnate as a goddess closely associated with the Asvins, 1.92, who are themselves the sons of Vivasvan, the sun. The Asvins are given credit for accomplishing many acts of benefit to mankind, particularly the rescue of people in danger, 1.1.6. Many of these remain obscure, but one, the rescue of Atri, is described at length, 5.78. Atri, in turn, is said to have found the lost sun, 5.4, an act that may be seen as a variant of the original act of creation itself, the making or finding of the sun, usually attributed to Indra, or merely surviving the danger of an eclipse. The sun is personified primarily as Surya, 1.50. Metaphorically, he is associated with the sunbird, 10.177, who is in turn personified in a mysterious sage named Vina, 10.123. Pusan is the charioteer of the sun and is therefore associated with journeys and travelers, 1.525. He is also the god who presides over the unharnessing of chariots at the end of the day, 6.55. Savitri is the driver who inspires and impels men to action. He too is invoked not only by day but at sunset, 2.38, and at night, 1.35. The dark aspect of the sun, which is manifest even in the hymns to dawn, is balanced by a vision of the light embodied in the benevolent aspect of night, 10.127.
0.92, Dawn and the Asvins.
The central and recurring metaphor in this hymn to Usas, personification of dawn, is that of harnessing tawny cows or bay horses to her chariot, in which she is to bring all riches to the men who worship her. The chariot is both a simple instrument of portage, a kind of cosmic Wells Fargo wagon, and symbolic of the victory chariot, by which all riches are won. The metaphor is complicated and enriched by the fact that the lights of dawn themselves are regarded as cows or mothers, who come of their own accord to be milked at dawn. See how the dawns have set up their banner in the eastern half of the sky, adorning and anointing themselves with sunlight for balm? Unleashing themselves like impetuous heroes, unsheathing their weapons, the tawny cows, the mothers, return. The red gold lights have flown up freely. They have yoked the tawny cows who let themselves be yoked. The dawns have spread their webs in the ancient way. The tawny ones have set forth the glowing light. They sing like women busy at their tasks, coming from a distant place with a single harnessed team, bringing refreshing food day after day to the man of good actions, the man of generosity. the man who sacrifices and presses the soma. Like a dancing girl, she puts on bright ornaments. She uncovers her breast as a cow reveals her swollen udder. Creating light for the whole universe, dawn has opened up the darkness as cows break out from their enclosed pen. Her brilliant flame has become visible once more. She spreads herself out, driving back the formless black abyss. As one sets up the stake in the sacrifice, anointing and adorning it with colored ornaments, so the daughter of the sky sets up her many-colored light. We have crossed to the farther bank of this darkness. Radiant dawn spreads her webs. Smiling like a lover who wishes to win his way, she shines forth and with her lovely face awakens us to happiness. The shining daughter of the sky, bringing rich gifts, is praised by the Gaudamas. Measure out offspring and strong men as the victory prizes. Dawn, the rewards that begin with cattle and culminate in horses. Let me obtain great riches of glory and heroic men. Dawn, riches that begin with slaves and culminate in heroes. Fortunate in your beauty, incited by the victory prize, you shine forth with the fame of great achievements. Gazing out over all creatures, the goddess shines from the distance, facing straight towards every eye. Awakening into motion everything that lives, she has found the speech of every inspired poet. The ancient goddess, born again and again, dressed in the same color, causes the mortal to age and wears away his lifespan as a cunning gambler carries off the stakes. She has awakened, uncovering the very edges of the sky. She pushes aside her sister, shrinking human generations. The young woman shines under her lover's gaze, spreading out her rays like cattle, like a river in full flood. The brightly colored one shines from the distance. The fortunate goddess does not break the laws of the gods, but becomes visible, appearing by the rays of the sun. Dawn, you who hold the victory prize, bring us that brightly colored power by which we establish children and grandchildren. Dawn, rich in cows, rich in horses. Resplendent giver of gifts, shine your riches upon us here and now. Harness your red gold horses now, O prize-giving dawn, and bring all good fortunes to us. O Asvins who work wonders, turn your chariot that brings cattle, that brings gold, and with one mind come back to us. You Asvins who gave a shout from heaven and made light for mankind, bring us strength. May those who wake at dawn bring here to drink the Soma, the two gods who work wonders and give joy, moving on paths of gold.
The notes.
The banner that the dawns plant in the sky, as if to stake out a territory, may be a streak of dawn light revealing the darkened universe, or it may be the sun. It is also a battle banner, as the verse goes on to liken the dawns to warriors. The verb means both to anoint and to adorn. In verse 1, the dawns adorn themselves with the sun and anoint themselves with light. In verse 5, the priest anoints the stake with clarified butter and adorns it with colored ornaments, a metaphor which also recalls the setting up of the banner. In verse 1, the phrase indicates that the team has traveled a yojana, the distance one can traverse with a single yoking without having to change the team. The priest. Here dawn is likened to a man, as she is in verse 1, a warrior, in verse 10, a gambler. She is a potent, sinister figure. The family of sages to whom this hymn is attributed, found both in the sense that she finds it for him and finds it in him, accepts his praise. Here, and in the next verse, dawn steals away the lifespan, CFPF 1.170.1, of mortals while remaining young herself, and acting for the benefit of the gods. She steals our youth as a gambler, perhaps by deception, takes away someone else's stakes, CFPF 2.10.5 and 10.340.6. The night. Her lover, as the next verse makes clear, is the sun, whose love is reflected in her. 3 verses addressed to the Asvins are appended to this hymn, attracted by the metaphor of the chariot that brings riches, and by the ideas of awakening, W 17 to 18, and dawn, V 18. They shout to wake people up at sunrise, the priests.
1.116 The deeds of the Asvins.
For the Nasyatyas, I offer praises, as one sets an offering on sacred grass, driving them forward as the wind drives rain clouds. The 2 of them brought a wife to the young Vimada on a chariot swift as an arrow, trusting in their horses with strong wings and swift gaits, or in the incitements of the gods. Your donkey Nasyatyas won 1,000 in the prize race with Yama. Tugra had left Buju in the cloud of water as a dead man leaves behind his wealth. You brought him back, Asvins, in ships that were alive, that swam through the realm of air far from the water. With birds that flew on for 3 nights and 3 days, you Nasatyas brought Buju to the far shore of the ocean, to the edge of the wetness, in 3 chariots with 6 horses and 100 feet. You did the deeds of heroes in that ocean that has no beginning, no support, no handhold. When you Asvins carried Buju home after he had climbed on board your ship that has 100 oars, the white horse that you Asvins gave to the man who had poor horses, to be a joy to him forever. This great gift of yours has become famous, and the racehorse of Pedu can still be summoned by his master. You lords of men granted the wish of Padria Koksivat when he praised you. You poured forth from the hoof of your potent stallion 100 pots of wine as if from a sieve. Ate with snow, you warded off the red-hot fire. You brought him sustaining nourishment. When Atri was led down into the glowing oven, you Asvins led him and all his followers back up again safely. You Nasyatyas overturned the well. You made the base on the top and the rim slanting down. Like water for drinking, the streams flowed for riches for the 1,000 thirsty people of Gautama. You Nasyas stripped away the sheath of flesh from Syama when he had grown old, as if it were a cloak. You masters stretched out his lifespan when he had been abandoned and made him the husband of young girls. Manly Nasatyas, your helpful protection was worthy of praise and admiration when, knowing how to do it, you dug out Vandana, who was hidden like a treasure. As thunder announces rain, I announce for reward your enormous master deed, lords, that Dadyank, the son of the Atharvan priest, told you about the honey through the head of a horse. Nasatyas, who enjoy many things, the bringer of abundance, called for your hands to give great help as you came to her. You heard the cry of the wife of the impotent man as if it was a command, and you Asvins gave her a son with golden hands. You manly Nasatyas released the quail right out of the mouth of the wolf. You who enjoy many things gave sight to the poet when he lamented. At the turning point in Kala's race, the mare broke a leg, like the wing of a bird. Right then you gave Vispala an iron leg so that she could run for the rich prize that had been set. When Ryasva carved up 100 rams for the she-wolf, his father made him blind. You Nasatyas, wonder-working healers, gave him 2 eyes so that he saw with perfect sight. The daughter of the sun mounted your chariot like a woman winning her goal with a racehorse. All the gods agreed to it in their hearts. You Nasatyas are strongly attracted to beauty. When you Asvins drove on your journey to Divadasa and to Bharadvaja, your trusty chariot brought a treasure. A bull and a dolphin were yoked together, bringing wealth with good kingship, long life blessed with fine children and true heroism. You Nasvyatyas with one mind came with prizes to Jahnavi, who offered you a sacrificial portion 3 times a day. You carried Jahusa away in the night on good paths through the realms of space, when he was surrounded on all sides. And with your chariot that breaks through barriers, you unaging Nasatya drove through the mountains. You Asvins helped Vasa in the battle, when in one morning he won thousands. With Indra at your side, you bulls drove disasters and attacks away from Prithusravas. You raised up water from the bottom of the deep well to the top for Sara Arkatka to drink. You Nasyatyas used your powers to make the barren cow swell with milk for Sayu when he was exhausted, for Visvaka Krs Anaya who needed help and praised you and was a righteous man. You Nasatyas used your powers to bring back Visnapu, for him to see again, he who had been lost like a stray cow. When Reba lay for 10 nights and 9 days bound by his enemy and immersed inside the waters, broken into pieces thrown in the water, you drew him out as one draws out soma with a ladle. I have proclaimed your wondrous deeds, Asvins. Let me be lord over this world, with good cattle and good sons. Let me see and win a long lifespan and enter old age as if going home.